Taylor, and we will take you through this Vipers reply. They need 279 for victory. Coming into this game, the Vipers were top on run rate with 23 points, 1-5 from 7. Sunrisers just below them, and the Blaze coming into this game in 5th. Grace Ballinger will open up with her left arm seamers, and she's bowling to, is that Charlie Knott? It's down the leg side, wide to start off.
That's Ella McCacken.
Ella McCacken for the Vipers. So we are underway. The sunshine is still out here at Queen's Park. It's been a breezy morning, but in the tent we haven't really felt too much of that, fortunately. But it's the sunshine has been out, which has been the major factor. What do we reckon to this total then, Charlotte?
I think it was good in the end for the Vipers to keep them below 300 at the rate they were going. The Blaze.
Ballinger bowls and McCacken guides that to back on a point. That should go all the way. Full and wider off stump from Ballinger, and McCacken played that brilliantly well.
It's a good start, isn't it? Over pitched by Ballinger. Just had to lean on it, really. Full face of the bat, offered by Ella McCacken. That'll get her confidence going. She made 49 in the last game against the Storm. I think I actually jinxed her because I was saying how well she was doing when I was sat watching it at home, and then all of a sudden, not so much. So try not to do that again today for her.
Missed just one game in this competition, didn't she? She didn't play at Bristol against Western Storm. Vipers had their England players for that one. That's guided down to 3rd. And the Vipers move on to 6 without loss. Remember, 279 is the victory target here for the Vipers, and the Blaze will be looking to make it 3 wins in a row. If they don't, the Vipers, just trying to look up actually what they've done in the last couple of games or so. You probably know off the top of your head, Charlotte.
They thoroughly beat the Storm in the last game at Hove.
Oh yeah, just one, yeah, because they lost to the Sunrisers at Radlett. I was there, I remember that. I'm at Radlett again tomorrow.
Do love Radlett.
Oh, I love Radlett.
Do you get good food at Radlett?
It's okay.
Okay.
Got all right food here, don't we?
Yeah. Got looked after well by the fans and family of Chesterfield Cricket Club.
Charlie Knott then plays Ballinger back to her. There is no run. We've got Nigel Mallender, who's the chairman here. Chesterfield Cricket Club is going to come and join us a bit later on. We'll have a chat. All things Chesterfield, I should imagine.
Can't wait. For our facts. You can go through our facts of Chesterfield so far.
Been through a few, haven't we? Fred Davis.
I actually know how much this pavilion cost when it was built.
Oh, well, we've got to have that. Here's Ballinger, runs away from us and bowls. Knott pulls that away powerfully, one bounce, but there is a fielder. One fielder out in the deep, and it's right where Charlie Knott has hit it. Fortunately, it's bounced before it reaches the fielder. Deep backward square leg, 7 without loss.
How much do you think?
Right,
so this was built in, let me give you a time frame. They played their first game here in 1894.
Right, and this park was formed, wasn't it, because of the, what was it? It was Queen Victoria
Golden Jubilee.
Golden Jubilee, that's right. So
as a sort of celebration of that.
That's right, and that was around the same time, I guess. What year?
1894.
Right, okay. Here's Ballinger, bowls, and McCacken plays that quietly on the onside. Right, I'm going for 1894.
So it's not a massive pavilion, is it? It's kind of small, quite quaint.
Yeah.
Got a balcony, a couple of levels.
It's a Victorian pavilion, isn't it? It's not huge, but you're right. It's it looks Victorian. £70,000.
You ready for this?
No.
£499 at the time.
No. £499. Here's Ballinger. McCacken again gets a length ball. She literally just plays it square on the leg side, just a few feet away from her. That's the first over done. And the Vipers are 7 without loss, chasing 279. 400. Wow. I was way out, 70,000.
But maybe £499 in that money is now worth £70,000 in today's money.
Yeah, I don't think you could build that for 70,000, could you? But that's amazing, isn't it? Just shows you how much things have changed money-wise.
And we were talking about the ground where they used to play at Salterfield?
Saltergate, was it?
Something like that.
Hang on, let me have a quick look. Give me quick no. It was Saltergate. Yeah.
Saltergate. And the reason that they moved, obviously this was made for the Jubilee and what have you, but they had higher numbers come to watch games here, and they were just thinking, why? Like, what's the difference in terms of, it's a new ground, don't get me wrong, but they were saying how it's actually so picturesque here, and it's right in the middle of a park, and people like to just come here and walk past and walk through. It's kind of accessible to the public, and they abolished the spectator fees, so you didn't have to pay to get in, whereas you did at Saltergate, you had to pay to get in, and now you didn't have to pay to come here because it was all more public. They probably couldn't stop people coming in from all angles, probably coming in out of the bushes over there and what have you, coming and watch some cricket. So it's just, they had higher spectator numbers here than they did at their old ground.
Interesting.
Catherine Bryce then to open up from the far end of the ground with her right arm seamers, gets one on the stumps, and it's worked leg side by Charlie Knott, who collects a single. So there was just sort of some confusion as to why there was so many more spectators here than there was at the previous ground. A couple of reasons why, maybe.
Because you were free to get in.
And it was just nicer to be here.
Yeah.
Bryce ending again past the umpire. Full delivery, driving as McCacken gets a thick inside edge out to deep mid-wicket. Another one to the Vipers total. They're in pursuit of 279 for victory.
There's something quaint about just being in the park and then there's a game of cricket, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of quintessentially English, isn't it?
One of my favourite things is just walking through parks and just watching cricket. It's just great of a Sunday afternoon or whatever. A full delivery on leg stump, worked leg side again by Knott, and they're coming back for a second. Quick run taken, good running in the end. Lucy Hyam comes around from deep backward square to do the fielding. 2 more to the total, 11 for no loss.
It is. It's like most places when the sun's out, but it is a beautiful spot, isn't it? And it's, if you lived in Chesterfield, in and around Chesterfield, this would be a spot you'd come to.
I would, definitely. After I visited the Spire, of course.
Yes.
It's a full delivery by Bryce. It's worked up to mid-on and there is no run. Yeah, after I visited the Cricket Spire, the next part of my...
Would be this.
Yeah. On my Chesterfield hot list. And then I'd obviously have to take a trip on Puffing Billy.
Well, you can't not.
To the River Hipper or whatever it is. Bryce in again past the umpire, driving is not back to does the fielding off her own bowling, and there is no run taken.
Now, some facts about the River Hipper, which runs
at
the far end of the ground behind the trees. It is a tributary of the River Rother. Its source is a large expanse of wetlands fed by the surrounding moors between Chatsworth and Chesterfield.
Well, there we go. So, it's a full... Sorry, I missed that delivery. Catherine Bryce bowls a full one on the stumps of Charlie Knott, who's driven that up to long on and collects a boundary to end the second over. 15 for no loss.
Now, I've just been handed a note here by Brian Halford, who's from the Reporters Network, and he's alongside us here. He's just been listening to what we're talking about the ground. This scribbled note from him says, when this ground was built, there was a heated debate about whether this or Derby should be Derbyshire's home ground. Chesterfield people were very grumpy that Derby was chosen.
Oh.
And he knows because he's sort of, Midlands area, so he would know their history. Here's Grace Ballinger then. Bowling to McGacken, who turns that away behind square on the leg side. Well, he ran the first one, probably not too quickly. Have to settle for a single. And the total will move on to 16 without loss, and McGacken on to 7. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? Derbyshire currently in the middle of games here at the moment. We played a championship game against Yorkshire last week and lost. They've got a T20 game.
Derbyshire would want to play in Derby, wouldn't you, really? That's kind of...
Well, I suppose it would be obvious, wouldn't it, really? Here's Ballinger again, then left arm over, bowls, wrapped on the pad there, Charlie Knott, big shout, she's gone. And that is Amy Clark with her finger up, and Charlie Knott goes for 8, and the Vipers have lost their first wicket with a score of 16.
It's not very often she's made single figures in this competition as Charlie Knott. She's been prolific run scorer for the Vipers. Before today, she had 281 runs at an average of 46, so a big loss to the Vipers' top order in pursuit of this quite sort of daunting figure of having to chase 279. It's a good wicket, good at quick outfield, but they lose one early here, the Vipers. Charlie Knott having to go in single figures. And the Blaze will be up and about after that, that's for sure. Grace Ballinger gets the ball hooping back in.
Yeah.
Full delivery. And it was too good for Charlie Knott on this occasion.
She always swings the ball in, Grace Ballinger, and you can see the ball straightening. I'll tell you what, if anything...
Missing leg stump.
Oh, I'm just watching that again. I mean, that is swinging a long way. I tell you what, well, if it's hitting the leg stump, it's clipping it. Some would say that might be missing leg stump slightly, but it looked right. That's the thing, isn't it? When the ball's hooping back like that, and the batter's kind of in front of the stumps, it just feels out. But then when you get a chance to watch it, which of course the umpire doesn't, you get a chance to watch it 2 or 3 times. I have to say, the more times I'm watching it, here we are again, just watch this again. Bowls and, oh yeah, maybe it's leg stump, maybe it is hitting leg stump, just about. New batter is that Georgia Adams?
It is.
Bowls, and that's again swung in. Adams works that to mid-wicket. Well, it needs a steady head now.
She can offer that, can Georgia Adams. Captain Georgia Adams, 214 runs at 35, high score of 65 not out. Along with her off-spin bowling, which she saw earlier today.
Now, she was telling me the other day, because she was on commentary with us for the men's game, Hampshire against Kent. And she told us on air, so I'm not breaking any confidence here. Wrapped on the pad there as it goes out on the leg side, that she's returning to Australia as captain. You know that because they talk in the Vipers camp, you'll know. But that wasn't out there, and I don't think it's officially out there. But that's New South Wales, isn't it? Yeah, she's returning as captain, having had a good season there, her first season last year in the Women's National Cricket League.
New South Wales Breakers, as they're called, the Breakers.
The Breakers.
Based in Sydney. She had a great time there, and she thinks that it's helping her cricket, so she's going back for some more.
Ballinger bowls, and I think Adams is just playing inside the line there as it goes through to the keeper. Yeah, that's really good, isn't it? I mean, it's it's nice when you've got a little you've got a foothold in Australia at a good level of cricket. Which she played a bit of Big Bash as well, didn't she? For Queensland, was it?
For the Adelaide Strikers.
Sorry, for Adelaide Strikers. Sorry.
Yeah,
they didn't really get involved too much. She seemed to play, but they didn't sort of give her a major role.
No. She sort of played. It was her and Danny Gibson that sort of played when each other's wasn't, kind of thing.
Yeah. Ballinger again then bowls and driving up to mid-off. Adams there, and that's the end of the 3rd over of the Vipers' reply. They are 16 for 1 here. Charlie Knott, LBW in that over for 8. Good swinging delivery there from Grace Ballinger. So,
yeah, big loss to the Vipers, losing Charlie Knott.
Yeah, it is.
So early on.
This is a tough ask. I mean, it was a tough ask before that. But not in the form she's been in both competitions, is certainly a shoe-in for a few runs. So a big loss at the top of the order, her going early.
Catherine Bryce then, from the Lake End, bowls to McCacken, hits her high on the back pad. Big shout from the Blaze. Tried to work it leg side to McCacken, was unsuccessful in doing so. Ball ballooned out on the offside, and no run is taken.
Still a bit of wind here, a bit of breeze. You can see the flag blowing amongst the T-tops on the picture feed.
Bryce in again, bowls to McCacken, who's solid forward in defence. No gap between bat and pad, that's what we like to see.
Catherine Bryce, although she's right arm over, she looks to swing the ball in a fraction, doesn't she?
No, she just falls away a little bit to the offside and gets that little bit of angle back in.
Yeah.
Steady pace. She's in again past the umpire now. Bowls to McCacken, who's driving expansively, but only to... is that Josie Groves there at short mid-wicket? I think it is. Does the fielding. McCacken just needs to be patient here. Build a partnership with her captain, Georgia Adams. Got a big chase ahead of them. It's a shorter one this time from Bryce. Tried to work into the offside this time and finds Grace Ballinger at point.
She drilled that one in, didn't she?
Hits the ball cleanly. McCacken when she gets going.
Yeah.
Looks quite fluent with the bat. Quite pleasing on the eye. It's a Yorker length delivery this time from Bryce dug out from McCacken. Good over this from Catherine Bryce. Not only does she score runs with the bat, she can take wickets with the ball as well. She got 1 for 17 in the last game, which is her first game in the competition so far. She bowls to McCacken, works that square of the wicket on the leg side, collects one more. Score moves to 17. And that is the end of the 4th. 17 for 1. McCacken on 8, and George Adams, the captain George Adams, yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, just the 1 run off that over. I'm trying to see if George Adams wouldn't have played on this ground before.
Do you mean the president? Vice president, sorry, of this cricket club?
Vice president, who didn't know she was vice president.
It's very funny.
It's a great story, I love it. But I suppose by the time she was starting to play a bit of cricket, she would have moved down south, wouldn't she? So,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, I'm just looking out. I can't see her having played here before. Grace Ballinger, in again. And bowls, and there's an inside edge drive there from McCacken as that ball came back in. Got to be really careful when that ball hooping back. Pick up a single though. Moves on to 9, 18 for 1.
Just that angle, isn't it? It's almost like quite a sharp angle back into the stump. She didn't get an awful lot of swing when she bowled at Derby, did she, in the finals day?
No, she didn't, actually.
So a lot more offer for her today. She generally gets a lot of it.
She does,
It
yeah.
doesn't surprise me that she is now.
Comes in and bowls to Adams. Gets a full delivery. Adams digs that one out, does well. Good delivery as well. In swinging Yorker there, which Adams had to stab that bat down on that one. Yeah, she's getting some very good swing out here as Ballinger. And, yeah, just outside the line of off stump, that one. So George Adams yet to get off the mark here. Faced 5 deliveries. Ballinger comes in again and bowls, and that's worked away on the onside. She's off the mark, Georgia Adams. Appreciated by one of her Vipers teammates, just to her right. That was a nice cookie you've got there.
I don't know when I'm going to eat it because it's a really annoying crunchy one, which is a slight problem for the microphone and the listeners, so I will keep muting myself in order to...
Yeah. Yeah, don't expect to hear too much from Charlotte Taylor over the next over or two. Because there's a big cookie.
It is. It's going to take me some time. I'll make sure I'm doing it when you're on, Kev.
Yeah, for sure. Ballinger into McCacken this time. McCacken's cut in and missing. It's gone through to
Good carry.
Sarah Bryce. Yes, it was. Yeah. Well, we said that in the first innings, didn't we? Really, it's just the Vipers seamers didn't quite bowl consistently enough. They were under pressure straight away, no doubt about it. From especially Sarah Bryce, who got away to a fast start. Didn't seem to really settle, didn't seem to quite get enough balls in the right areas, because there is a bit of up and down nature of this pitch, a little bit too paced as well. Other than that, it is coming on quite good. Always just cutting and missing again, Ella McCacken.
It's almost like she tries to hit that with half the bat.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to hit it with the full face of the bat and hitting it dead on square, comes through, and it's almost like a tennis top hand. You know, when a forehand, I've been watching a lot of Wimbledon clearly, but the tennis forehand where they just sort of roll their wrists over the top of it.
Yes.
And trying to hit it with half the surface area. That's what it looks like.
Well, in an effort to turn the face of the bat to keep the ball down, there's actually no bat shown to the ball hardly at all. Here's Ballinger again, then runs away from us and bowls down the leg side, and it's a no ball. I think it would have been a wide anyway, but the first one counts, and that's the no ball.
And that should mean that the next delivery will be a free hit, as signalled by umpire Amy Clark. There she goes. Signalling the free hit by the whirling overhead motion above her head. I always thought if I was an umpire, I'd put a bit of flair on that.
Would you?
Yeah, like a bit of hip action maybe.
Like as if you're
lassoing
yeah.
a horse or something.
But to music.
If there was music available, then I'd make it even more flary.
Here's Ballinger again. It's a low full toss, which is steered down to third by McCacken, just opening the face of the bat. So just a 1 run off that free delivery. McCacken into double figures, end of the over. So 5 overs have gone, 45 left. 21 for 1, the Vipers chasing that score of 278 all out, which was the Blazes' second highest score of the season. I know you mentioned last time they got 318 for 8 in their win over the South East Stars at Beckenham. They got 276 for 6 the game before that when they chased down Western Storm's 275. So they are in very good nick with the bat as a team.
Bryce then to continue from the lake end, runs towards us, bowls, and McCacken's driving up to mid-on. A bit of a bounce in front of Marie Kelly, but she does well in the end, not to concede a run.
Georgia Elwiss, the next batter in for the Vipers, has been doing a lot of exercises over the last 2 or 3 overs. She's wearing me out.
She's an old girl now like me, needs to loosen up.
Is that right?
Yeah. Make sure she doesn't get stiff. Bryson again, bowls to McCacken, hit on the back pad again, but just goes out onto the offside. No real appeal from the Blaze. Yeah, need to make sure that you keep loose.
Yes.
Can't be getting stiff.
Running up and down the touchline, she's been with some red elasticated rope thingy.
Bryce bowls to McCacken, driving on the up to mid-on. Good looking shot from McCacken. No run taken.
She sat down
Careful
now.
start.
Yeah, she sat down there. That's why we can.
Chill time.
Oh, yeah.
They're all sat to the right of us. Bryson again, a full delivery, clipped off the legs of McCacken. It's going to drop one bounce in front of the fielder out at deep square leg. Heather Graham out there does the fielding.
How well did she bat?
Brilliant, wasn't she? 70. Let me have a look. It happened 20 minutes ago, but I've forgotten already. 78 from 54 deliveries. Very good. Not got them up to that 279. I thought we were going to get 300 when she hit one down the throat of Charlie Knott along on. Bryson again bowls to George Adams this time, who's forward in defence. So she did really well to get them up to 279. I think the Vipers just at the end there would be a little bit happier that they managed to bowl them out. And is it 14 deliveries left out there where they got bowled out?
Yep. Might have been 16 actually.
Bryce bowls to Adams, who gets that one to kick up off the surface and hits Adams on the glove. So she's trying to keep it down into the offside. That's the end of the 5th. 22 for 1. At the same stage, halfway through the power play, the Blaze were 22 for no loss. So just the loss of the 1 wicket in it so far.
Yeah, there was 16 balls, 47.2 overs they were bowled out in. So that is 16 balls, isn't it, left? Which, depending on how well the Vipers bat, may actually be a significant factor. But there's still a long way to go till we get to even think about that yet. Grace Ballinger will continue from the pavilion end, and she's cut in, and I think there might have been a slight glove on that. As McCacken was cutting that one, it falls just short of the keeper, Sarah Bryson, the first slip behind her. The ball gets a little closer to the batter when you look to cut. When it leaves the bowler's hand, it's a little wider, and then when you come to cut the ball, you suddenly find it very close to your body, so you're actually playing a cut shot to a ball that ends up on a line that you wouldn't normally be playing a cut shot on. It gets too close. Here's Ballinger again, pulled away by McCacken. That's a nice shot. Through mid-wicket, and I think that's going to bounce away for 4. Or will it? Yes, just. Good shot. That's got the Vipers contingent in front of us a little bit more excited. There was a lot of work there for Josie Groves to do out on the deep square leg boundary.
Yeah, she had to cover a lot of ground, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
And I thought she was going to get there at one stage. It sort of bounced and plugged. But it did kick on in the end. It's a good aggressive shot from McCacken. Got onto the length well. Players that judge length well are generally quite successful.
Yeah. While we're on our historical facts pathway at the moment, I've got another one for you. Ballinger bowls. Another no ball that's played out on the onside by McCacken. Now I'm told, or I was told during the break, I don't know if you heard this bit, but the ice cream van, it must be the ice cream van's company, or what have you. They've been around since 1896.
So 2 years after the first game was played here.
Yeah.
It's quite a long time.
Yeah, not the same van, obviously, and not the same batch of ice cream.
Yeah, that'd be really quite off now.
Yes,
I'm not eating it. If it
A
is.
little worrying. But apparently, or there's been an ice cream van or some sort of ice cream outlet or in that spot, in the gap, about 10 o'clock as we look, since then.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. Here's Ballinger balls. Oh, she's playing a miss in there. Full delivery, and that really kicked up on its way through to Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. Ballinger has 1 for 17.
Sorry, that's right. I was talking to Rihanna Southby in the break. He was saying it was just a devil to keep on.
Is
The
it?
ones that ride up like that, especially stood up. She ended up standing back. She'd normally stand up to Mary Taylor. I said, why were you standing back? Oh, it's because of that rising bounce, so difficult. And you know, she wasn't always on the stumps. Couple down the leg side, it was just beating her. So
That's
not easy.
No, that's an interesting point. Ballinger bowls, driving, thick outside edge, but safe. As the ball goes quickly down to third off the bat of McGacken. She moves on to 16, 28 for 1. Did you say it was a difficult wicket to keep on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of that, you know, it's that tennis ball-y rising bounce, and then there was a couple that did scoot along the floor. So yeah, a bit difficult to keep on.
Yeah, that's right. And it looked it, didn't it, at times? You know.
So it won't be surprising if Sarah Bryce spends most of her time stood back today. And they should always stand back to Ballinger, but she might spend a bit more time stood back today than maybe she would.
It's Ballinger again then, left arm over bowl, short, helped down the leg side by Georgia Adams. That's running away. Josie Groves has got more work to do running to her right this time, and again the ball's just beaten her. Well, she'll be nice and warmed up on that leg side after 2 big chases. And both times the ball has eluded her and gone over the rope. Adams moves on to 5, 32 for 1 now, the Vipers.
Yeah, Ballinger hasn't started her best here, really. Been a little bit wayward, a couple of no balls.
Yeah, just maybe the ball not quite swinging for as much as it was. These white balls don't last particularly long. You've got to get the early swing in. Oh, she's playing a missing outside the off stump there, Adams, just trying to guide that ball through the covers. And that ends Ballinger's 4th over. That's 7 overs done then. Just watching that last delivery from Ballinger, and yeah, it just really held its line, threatened to come back, it didn't. Adams just playing slightly across that one. 10 runs off that over. Good over from the Vipers' point of view. Charlie not the 1 wicket that's fallen. 8 from 8. LBW to Ballinger, one that swung in, straightened and hit an around leg stump. The sun's just disappeared for the moment.
All right, it's got a little bit chilly, isn't it? Catherine Bryce with ball in hand once more. Starts a new over from the lake end. She bowls to McGacken, who's put forward in defence, back to her in her follow-through. And there is no run taken. The Vipers in pursuit of 279 set by the Blaze earlier on today at Chesterfield. 32 for 1 in their reply. Bryce in again, bowls to McGacken, who's hit her on the pad. She was going back to that one, a good length delivery from Bryce. Just asked the question of Paul Pollard as to say why that wasn't out. Paul Pollard remains unmoved. Bryce in again, past the umpire, bowls, back of a length delivery down the leg side this time. Has it got on under edge? I think it might have done by McGacken. Stopped by Bryce, I wouldn't say taken by Bryce, but stopped at least. Down the leg side. Must have got the under edge of McGacken's bat. Bryce in again, bowls to McGacken, who's lofted that lovely over the infield, over mid-wicket, pick up 4. Got every piece of that, it was a great shot. Over mid-wicket. 4 to McGacken, she moves on to 20. Vipers 36 for 1.
And it's always nice, isn't it, when your teammates applaud and shout out after
You almost know it's really great.
You do, yeah, that's right, it's exactly right.
Is that how it felt with your 100 that you made here? Did you get the sort of ripple of applause from around the ground?
A few. Too many to mention.
Yeah. Bryce bowls towards us. McGacken driving, thick inside edge into the leg side. We'll get it to Kirsty Gordon at mid-wicket. There's a couple of mid-wickets in for McGacken.
But it is a ringing endorsement from your own teammates, which as much as these players love, you know, the plaudits coming from elsewhere, there's something special about when your whole teammates are shouting and clapping.
When you feel respected by them. It's a back of a length delivery. He's defended into the offside by McCacken to close out the eighth. Sorry, 8 overs gone. 36 for 1. The Vipers, as we hear a siren over to our left, racing through the town centre. A high-speed chase, no doubt. Some bad guys. Or girls. McCacken going nicely on 20 from 30. Steady stuff. Adams with just on the 5 from 10 deliveries.
Yeah. The Vipers contingent, they don't look too bothered at the moment. They seem to be reasonably happy with the reply. The Duckworth-Lewis, which I don't think will come into play, is 46 at the moment, so they are slightly behind, which is, again, a good sort of measure as to where you're at in your chase. Those that can't calculate run rates and what do we need off per over, just look at the Duckworth-Lewis.
That's what I would do until I can actually figure it out, until it gets into sort of the last 10 overs or so.
Who have we got here? We've got, with a left-arm spinner, Kirsty Gordon, yes. The skipper, 26 years of age. First ball's pushed out quietly on the offside. Kirsty Gordon, who's already picked up a trophy this season. Charlotte Edwards Cup a couple of weeks ago in Derby. So pushed. Everything's about Derby at the moment. Derbyshire. It's gone to mid-wicket. Fielded by Lucy Heyhoe. 36 for 1. Adams drives, and Golden's trying to push that onto the stumps. Doesn't quite. So many bowlers do that now. Do you do that now? When you, Sorry, you're eating. Do you know what? I've really stuffed you outside there. I was just waiting you to take a big gulp of cookie, and I said, go on then, what was that then?
I do actually do that.
Do you? I think everybody does that now, actually. Oh, it's way down the leg side. Called a wide.
That I don't like, though, is that people can, and probably me included, would palm one off on the stump saying, I'm trying to run somebody out, and actually it's just bad fielding, like you're just trying to get your hand out of the way of it, maybe you're scared of the ball, and people blame it on, I was trying to run somebody out.
Adams on the back foot, strokes that out to extra cover.
And I've been guilty of it, because I've got somebody's whacked one back at me in my follow-through, and I've got, tried to pull my hand out of the way of it, kept the bottom end of my fingers, gone onto the stumps. I was like, I was trying to run somebody out, and they haven't moved. They're not backed up once.
Adams drives and hits that into the ground. Run there. So
it's complete rubbish. What you try to actually run somebody out, actually you just don't want to touch the ball because it's been absolutely smacked back at you.
And you stand there and just look up as if to say, I was so unlucky. Adams pushes that up to mid-on, and we'll get a single there. She moves on to 6, 38 for 1. Oh yeah, the train driver liked that one. End of the over. So that was a fairly good over there from Kirsty Gordon. 9 overs gone. And the Vipers are 38 for 1 with Adams on 6. Ellen McCacken is on 20. Just that one wicket. Charlie Knott has gone for 8. Yeah, so many people do it now. And I'm not sure how many times people have been run out. The odd time. I don't think anybody's run out more now than they ever were before.
It's not like it's a massive
bowlers
game.
never were doing that, were they?
But maybe it's just a little excuse for bad fielding. Who knows?
There's the ice cream van. Oh, it's got a few there now.
There's a queue
It's
for
about
me.
4 or 5 there.
Bryce to start a new over then to Adams. He tries to work that leg side. Wants a single, has to be sent back by McCacken. Disagreement between the two of them. Adams wanted a single as it came off her thigh pad into the leg side. Bryce was quickly out from behind the stumps to gather it.
Looks like a good size, those cones. They don't skimp on the ice cream by the
How
looks
can
of
you
it.
see that from all the way over there? We are
I was on
so
the picture
far
feed.
away. Oh, I see. Bryson again bowls to Adams, who nudges that onto the leg side. Kirsty Gordon's waiting there at square leg to do the fielding inside the circle. I thought you were going like this, leaning forward in your chair, squinting your eyes all the way over to the far side of the ground to know that there was a big cone. I was like, how on earth have you seen that? That's not okay. You've got the best eyes in the world if you can see that. Bryson again, good length, but it's popped up in front of Adams. Can actually keep it down along the floor.
It's just a shame there's only half an hour between the innings, because going over the other side of the ground, we'd have needed an extra 10, 15 minutes.
Need to get one of these guys to go and get you one in a minute.
Fat chance of that.
Bryson again, a shorter delivery this time, helped round the corner by Adams. It's running away from Lucy Heyhoe, and she'll get 4 down to fine leg. Georgia Adams picks up a boundary. She moves on to 10. The Vipers keep motoring forward, 42 for 1 now. Poor delivery by Catherine Bryce, just drifting onto the pads of Adams. You don't want to bowl there to hurt. Bryce in again, past the umpire. Good length delivery on the pads of Adams once again. And again, it's got the same treatment down the leg side. It's not gone as quickly this time, but get the same result off the bat of Adams. 4 more to fine leg. 46 for 1.
Finished up in all those seats, just to the left of the pavilion. This is the thing with Bryce, isn't it? Because she's angling the ball in, can't bowl it too straight. It's got to start just outside off stump and cramp the batter up. Anything that's starting straight going down the leg side, clip it away.
Almost easy pickings, isn't it? Same field set, no changes. Bryson again, bowls to Adams. Shot outside the off stump this time and cut through the offside for 4. It's running away from McCarthy. She won't catch up with it. That's a lovely shot. All fielders up on the offside means that she was able to thread it through nicely. And that's 3 boundaries in a row for the Vipers. Takes their total. They're halfway through. Halfway through, they're not. They're at the end of the power play now. 10 overs gone, 50 for 1.
Yeah, and 12 off that one. That was a beautiful piece of timing. That's the best shot of the Vipers' innings so far, by a long way. On the back foot.
Same stage, the Blaze were 45 for 1, so they're 5 runs ahead. So
Right.
they're or thereabouts.
Yeah.
But then became the big partnership between the 2 Bryce sisters.
71 for the second.
That really sort of got them into a commanding position, didn't it? So if
Yeah.
they can replicate that between McCacken and Adams now, they'll be quite happy, I would think, going forwards, and chasing down this total of 279.
Kirsty Gordon will continue. There's the spire, the crooked spire. If you're watching the picture feed, there it is, just peering beside the trees. So driven back to her by Ella McGacken. We had the facts and figures for that spire. It's an amazing sight. It really is. It's hidden slightly with the trees at the moment, but when you see it full on, you just think, how on earth has it ended up like that? Oh, and it's very nearly caught to extra cover. A ball just bouncing short of the fielder. They'll come through for a single, but the ball was in the air for quite a while there from McGacken's drive.
Just driving on the up, wasn't she?
Yeah, 51 for 1 then, and we are in the 11th over. There's Kirsty Gordon bowls. Adams pushes that into the gap, backward a point. Ballinger's running after it. It's running away from her somewhat. They'll come back for an easy 2. And Vipers' total moves on to 53 for 1.
This is how partnerships are built, isn't it? Just steady. You don't need to score loads of badges. I know she scored 3 in the last over, Adams, but just about working the ball around. That's all the Bryces did for a long time.
Yeah.
Just work the ball around nicely.
Gordon, left arm round. Forward is Adams. Can't do anything with that. That's nice and straight. Sunshine is trying to come back. There's a bit more hazy cloud around than there was earlier, but we are back in sunshine here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield as Adams goes over the top. Lovely shot. That'll bounce away for 4. The ball was in the slot as well. Adams was committed to the shot, hit through the line, and she moves on to 20.
Couple of steps down the wicket, lofted it over the infield, and as it bounced, it did sort of bounce away from Graves, who was after it. And it was, if you're chipping that onto the green and it's going further away from you, you're a bit disappointed they haven't got a bit of backspin on that to keep it on the green.
That's exactly what you need as a golfer. Gordon bowls straighter this time. Think about a single. Goes out to Lucy Hyam at mid-wicket. So that's the end of the 11th over, with the Vipers on 57 for 1. Couple of good overs. 7 off that one. And George Adams is leading the scoring out there. Now between these two, she's moved on to 24. Ella McGacken is on 21. See the shadows from the players. You can see the scoring rate, the Manhattan graph if you're watching on the live picture feed. Always a couple of big overs somewhere along the line. It's all about trying to keep ahead overall. And the Vipers are overhead if you take the Duckworth Lewis score, because they're 3 ahead of it. Should there be a rogue heavy shower of rain that takes us off the field, which...
I love the word rogue.
Rogues.
Heather Graham then start a new over. Got 6 for in the last game with her right arm seamers, comes past the umpire and bowls outside off stump, left alone by McCacken. It goes through to wicketkeeper Sarah Bryce, who stood up. I said she might spend the majority of her time stood back, but to Graham she stood up. Not express pace. Heather Graham, just little medium paces.
Yeah. But that's interesting what you're saying about Rhiannon Southby, how she found the keeping here, standing up.
Found it difficult. Graham, and again, bowls to McCacken, who's trying to find a single on the offside and dead bats it to Ella Claridge at extra cover. I just love those people, you can just see them coming in at the far end of the ground, just obviously walking in from the lakes or by the river, just walking in through the park, coming to watch some cricket. Lovely.
It is.
Graham in again then, bowls to McCacken, who's beaten outside the off stump as she's trying an expansive drive through the offside. It's a good length delivery from Graham. Started well here, 6 for 39 were her figures in the last game. 27-year-old versus the Stars. Of course, they had one over in the CEC final as well, just a couple of weeks ago. Graham in again, bowls to McCacken, who's on the back foot defending. A good length delivery back to Graham in her follow-through.
So she'll be looking to sort of straighten the ball, won't she, with that action on the right-hander? Because that's predominantly what she's looking for. It's difficult, of course, with a wide ball once you start getting past the first few overs, but got a nice, easy action.
At the top of her mark again. It does look easy for her. She bowls to McCacken. She's short this time, and it's swatted into the leg side. Hit with extreme power by McCacken, got well on top of the bounce and picks up 4 more. She moves to 25. Vipers really going well, actually. 61 for 1.
She was on that quickly. Wasn't that short.
I said earlier, if a player picks up length well, they're generally onto something, because one of the hardest things to do is judge length in cricket. If you prop on the front foot and it's halfway down, you're in trouble, and same if you go back to a full one, you're also in trouble. So if you're able to pick up length early, it's just real key for good batters. That's a lovely shot from McCacken. Cut into the offside. Wide delivery from Graham to finish. 61 for 1 at the end of the 12th now. McCacken 25, Adams 24.
Cassidy McCarthy picking up that one at the end. Was out first ball right at the back end of the Blaze innings. We were saying that she's a former Vipers Academy player. She's obviously in for a bowling. I've not seen her bowl before. She's medium pacer?
Yeah, medium pacer, yep. She will bowl. She has bowled for the Blaze in their last few games in this competition. She didn't play in the CEC competition, but will bowl for them in this, but hasn't taken a wicket thus far in professional cricket. Well, she did, sorry, in 2023, but this year she hasn't taken a wicket for the Blaze.
Well, I suppose from a purely biased point of view, I hope that continues, but we're trying to be neutral. Kirsty Gordon is starting her run, then stopping. Now the umpire's looking at some notes and put that in the back of her pocket, and we're ready to go again. So we're into the 13th over now, 61 for 1. Here's Kirsty Gordon. Left arm round, down the leg side, and just waiting for Amy Clark to signal something. No, she's not. No, the arms are firmly by her side. Maybe just flick the pad.
Well, she's saying that Adams moved across, therefore the wide line moves with her. I don't know.
Okay. Gordon again, flighted. Adams drives and misses. Oh, my word. Now, that's an interesting one. It was flighted. Adams drove, and it went past the outside edge.
Just sort of reared up on it, didn't it? That sort of bounce that we've been seeing across the whole day is rearing its ugly head once more.
Good take from Bryce. And Adams pushes forward. And I tell you what, just watching the ball, the one before, that's turned. That has definitely turned. That's a
She's
good
not a big
delivery.
turner of the ball, Kirsty Gordon. So that
She
surprises
is.
me. No, she's not.
She's not, no.
Usually just goes on with the arm, a bit like Lindsay Smith.
Yeah. Well, she found a bit of turn there. Adams is very watchful now, pushing forward. Sometimes as a spin bowler, well, you know, you're a spin bowler sometimes. Well, sometimes you are spin bowlers. But if you just show one that turns.
You think I've ever turned one? That's your biggest mistake.
Well, I was trying to be nice. As that swept away, very fine, and that will be 4. To the top end of the ground as we look, the lake end. Well, I think
I've turned 2 or 3 in my career.
You do. And your greatest asset, and we mentioned earlier when you were player of the final in the 2020 final at Edgbaston in this competition against Northern Islands, the drift that you got as an off-spinner was just sensational. It really was. I mean, off-spinners would kill to get drift. They would. I mean, it's just brilliant. And you did turn the old one. That's cut away. Oh, it's misfield at point. And that's going for 4. That's a mistake
Ballinger.
by Ballinger, yeah. She was on her knees there, just looking at the ground as if to say, yep, I know everybody, I know I should have stopped that, but it's gone now. 69 for 1. That's not a bad over either. It was 8 off that one. But, you know, if you just turn one, and if you're prepared to give a bit of flight to do that and not get hit, if it does turn, and all of a sudden the batter's looking at the pitch saying, right, okay, well, there's a little bit of turn here probably. So all of a sudden they're thinking and playing differently. So it's always worth just trying one, isn't it?
Just seeing what happens.
Gordon did there.
And it paid off, really.
It certainly did.
It did for Adams.
There's a
Heather
few-
Graham then to start a new over from the Lake End bowls to McCacken. Gets a good length delivery that she just defends into the leg side. What are you going to say there, Kev?
I was just going to say, on the live picture feed, if you're watching, there's a few spectators dotted around enjoying the cricket, probably on their way through the park and probably didn't realise
think,
there was any
yeah.
cricket, and they just think, do you know what, we'll just sit down and watch a few overs.
And that's actually just great, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
it
on
is.
their way through. This is where you need the live, you know, go out there with my portable mic and go and chat to them, see what they're saying. Good length delivery from Graham on the legs of McCacken. Works it to Teresa Graves at fine leg for a single. I just pop over there, go and chat to them. What brings you to Chesterfield Cricket Club today? I was just walking my dog, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm a big Vipers fan and I live in Chesterfield. Great.
Been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this big moment for the last 4 years. It's finally here. Big George Adams fan, of course. Graham into Adams, who is on the front foot defending into the offside, picks up a single to cover. Cover fielder is out on the boundary edge. That's Catherine Bryce out there, does the fielding. One more to the total.
Waiting for
Another
George
honk
Adams.
for the horn.
Been waiting for George to return to her roots.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Been waiting 30 years.
Yeah, we were waiting to remind her that she's a vice president of this club.
She's got responsibilities to do. Graham bowls to McCacken this time, and it's bowled up. I think it might be an inside edge in the end, as it cannons into off stump. It was a good length delivery. She was looking for the right shot for me, McCacken, trying to drive the ball, good length ball, but just got a thick inside edge, and it hit her stumps behind her. She's had to go. Made a well-made 26, but that is the end of her, and the Vipers now 71 for 2 after we're midway through the 14th.
Yeah, I think you're right. It may just have caught a slight inside edge there. I was just watching for the ball to move in the air. I couldn't really see it. It looks a little bit more as though there's a bit of a gap between bat and pad, and the ball's just caught the inside edge. But a good partnership between those two, which realised 55. My maths is correct.
Yep.
55 for the second wicket, which was scored in 11 overs. So the new batter is Georgia Elwiss, who's been doing a lot of warm-ups and stretches on the side. So if she's not warmed up now, she never will be. But she's a cool, calm player to have coming in on a run chase.
And she's in good form too. 241 runs at 60. Highest score of 65 not out.
Which means she's been batting pretty steady.
Yeah.
As well. She hasn't been relying on just that one big knock to keep her average up. That's a series of knocks and a series of good ones as well. They're going to need all her experience as well.
Yeah, the two Georges together, as they so often are. Heather Graham then bowls first ball to her down the leg side. It's beaten Bryce. She stood up to Graham, beats her down the leg side, and a slightly misfield by Graves. That'll be called wide. There'll be 3 of them as they come back for a second run.
Hey, get on with your cookie.
74.
Sorry.
I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, it's still got half of it left.
Yeah, that's right. I'm getting there. Would you like one? I've got another one in my bag.
Well, it's very tempted to say yes, actually.
Well, then you may say yes.
Thank you.
I
I'll
will
say
get
yes.
you one.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. One of us will do one over and one of us do the
Yeah,
other. And
there
that
you
gives us
go.
time to do the cookie. God, they're huge. Thank you.
Another good length delivery by Graham on the hips of Elwiss. Works it just behind square on the leg side, and they'll get one leg by the looks of things. Just a steady rebuild required here from the Vipers now. Don't need to do anything rash. You build a platform and the runs will come, especially on a quick outfield like this. You've seen balls race away to the boundary all day. Graham, good length delivery from her to finish the over. Dead batted by George Adams. Back to her in a follow through. That's the end of the 14th. Viper 75 for 2 after 14.
And Ella McGacken's 26 came off 43 deliveries with 4 fours. Do you want to finish off that cookie? And then I'll do a few balls. Shall I? And then I'll grab this one you very kindly gave to me. So Kirsty Gordon is going to continue with her left arm spinners. She's bowled 3 overs, none for 17. The bowlers used so far: Grace Ballinger 4 overs, 1 for 22, and Catherine Bryce 5 overs, none for 26. So the Vipers are going all right with their reply, although they're just under the Duckworth-Lewis score at the moment by about 7. 75 for 2, and it's Georgia Elwiss then just taking her time, looking around the ground. Facing Kirsty Gordon now. Bowls, and Elwiss pushes that out towards extra cover. No run, fielded by Cassidy McCarthy, who's got sort of like one of those tubey grips now on one side, one arm, the other one's bare, and that one's got a big white something or other. That's half stopped by Gordon, pushes that up towards mid-on where it's fielded by Marie Kelly. And again, there's no run. I always think, you find this as well when you're batting, and I used to find it when you're chasing a biggish score, which it is. 279 to win is a big score. Pulled away by Georgia Elwiss. Oh, that's going to be 4. Well, there is a deep mid-wicket, that's Josie Groves, but she was nowhere near that. That was hit with force along the ground by Elwiss, and she is off the mark. You always, aren't you? You're trying to relax, but you don't, as a batter, because you know at some point you're going to be needed. How important your innings might be will depend on how the batters bat in front of you. So you're always hoping there's a partnership. You're always hoping that somebody gets stuck in just to help with the nerves. Because it can feel a long time. Sometimes when we're talking, it can go quite quickly. Sometimes when you're batting and
you're waiting there,
run chase, it feels like forever. The run chase, it really does. And you count down every single run as that's hit away into the gap on the offside. And 279 is a lot of runs to be sitting down and following every single ball and living every moment. It can be quite. It is. Well, I say can be. It is stressful.
it's even more stressful for the batters that are next in, or the ones that think, oh, am I going to be needed today?
That's right.
Lower down the order.
Stressful watching it, that's for sure. Textbook forward defensive there from Georgia Adams. You've wolfed your cookie down, that last bit of it.
Got to. There's an ant coming for yours.
Oh,
just careful of that.
Oh, we can't have any of that. Can't have any of that. It's gone. Gordon again runs away from us and bowls to Adams. Oh, almost a Yorker. Adams does well, actually, and just plays that late and angles the face. And the ball's running down towards third, and that's gone all the way. That is a really good shot there from Georgia Adams. It wasn't a bad delivery from Kirsty Gordon, but Adams has got maximum out of that. She moves on to 37. 84 for 2 then, the Vipers. Remember, they need 279 for victory.
Yeah, it's a brilliant shot, wasn't it? Just like you say, angled the bat, leant on it, really. In a delivery that you probably say, well, if we get 1, it's a bonus, but it's a good ball. Managed to get 4 from it. 84 for 2 then. 15 overs gone. A couple of the Vipers batters maybe going over some throwdowns. Alice Monaghan on her way over with some of the coaching staff to go and do that. Make sure she's ready if required. Heather Graham then to continue a new over. Bowls to us and beats Elwiss's outside edge. She props forward. Tries to defend the ball. Misses. Graham got the wicket of McCacken. Got 6 for in the last game, of course. So on a roll with the ball, as she was with the bat in the first innings as well. So a key player, as most of the overseas players are, a key player for the Blaze. She's down the leg side this time on is Heather Graham. Left alone by Elwiss. Into the hands of Bryce. 86 for 2.
So Michaela Kirk, she's not overseas, was she? That she's not playing in this
She's
one?
born in Johannesburg, but she's not classed as an overseas player.
Right.
They had Nadine de Klerk beforehand, if that's
Right.
confusing.
Yes.
She went away on to international duty with South Africa. As Graham's in again, a good leg delivery, but again it's reared up off a good length. George Elwiss just watchfully places that into the leg side and there is no run. So yeah, they had Nadine de Klerk, who's from South Africa,
Yes.
then left to go on to South Africa, then playing in a series against India. So she's in that series at the moment. So then they've got Heather Graham to replace her for the majority of the, well, I think in fact the entirety of the CEC I think she was over for. Heather Graham, she's in again past the umpire, bowls to Elwiss and onto the hips of Elwiss, just works that leg side down to fine leg. Teresa Graves down there does the fielding, one more to the total, one more to Elwiss, she moves to 6.
Is it me? Or is it getting warm again?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It's quite nice.
It's been nice
I've,
today.
I've actually got my raincoat as well. I don't need to put that on just yet, which is quite pleasing.
Always when you come up this way, you bring a raincoat. It's a must.
You go above London and I do. Heather Graham and then slower ball, worked leg side by Adams and finds the fielder Josie Groves at mid-wicket.
I think we've had the best of the weather up this way. I mentioned before the start, before we came on air actually, a couple of people had messaged me and said, are you actually going to play up there? I said, yeah, the sun's out. It's clearly much better weather than down south. Or was at some point.
Graham and again past the umpire, bowls. Back of a length delivery, defended carefully by Adams. They're being really watchful, these two, at the moment. Fielders outside of the inner circle, of course. We're outside of the power play. We've got deep third, deep cover, deep square and deep fine leg. All fielders behind the bat. Graham starts her run up. Bowls to Adams, who again is watchfully defending. Not willing to take a risk at this stage. Is Georgia Adams, the captain, out there with Georgia Elwiss. 86 for 2 after 16.
Yeah, plenty of time. 86 means the Vipers need 193 from here on in. The run rate required is just over 5.5, and they're currently scoring at 5.5.
Well, there we go.
So it's pretty steady stuff, isn't it? I mean, that figure, those figures there, tell you that.
I think if you stay in on this ground, it strikes me as a place that you will score. It's not difficult to get going. It's kind of just you stay there and you will find ways of scoring. It's kind of place. It kind of strikes me as that kind of place.
Yeah. Kirsty Gordon's continuing with her left arm spinners. Always pushes that out into the offside, and there is no run. Earlier, in the first innings, we were talking about the number of ex-pros that were on the ground, and there was an incredible number, really, for this game. That's a lovely sweep shot there from Georgia Elwiss. Fielder out there does well as well, but they'll come back for 2. That's a big area away to our right. And there was one name that I didn't know was here until the break between the innings. And the one to finish off all the players that are here is Chris Schofield. Leg break bowler. Oh, it's a big shout for an LBW. But it's going down towards fine leg. There'll be more runs here. Be 2 more. Former England leg spinner, actually. Or they played 2
You've got a leg
tests.
spin in your team as well.
Yeah, we've got a leg spinner now.
Gosh.
So he's there, only because he reminded me. I've just looked across to my right and he's having a chat. So he's here as well, amongst all those other names that we mentioned, which we can go through again very quickly. Because we tried to make a team of ex-players or people who are not playing in this game. It's down the leg side, not called a wide, or is it? No, it's not. So on this ground right now, or maybe he's not, maybe, well, the one name I think might have gone, because he's got to go back to Trent Bridge. Because Notts have got a T20. Oh, there's a wide. Wow, that's the latest call in the world. It's finally called a wide. No idea why it was that late. Gordon again to Elwiss. Elwiss is forward with Thicky shouts out there. Georgia Adams is running to the wicket, has to run back quickly. She's home. So Mick Muir, who's the Notts director of cricket, but he was on the ground, former Notts player. Paul Pollard is the umpire, former Notts player. John Stanworth with the UCB, former Lancashire keeper. Yours truly. Laura Marsh was here as well. She's part of. So it's pushed out on the onside, no run.
Part of the Blaze coaching squad.
That's right, former England cricketer. We've also got Charlotte Edwards, former England cricketer. John Lewis is on the ground, former Durham and Essex batter who's with the England women. So Paul Pritchard, who's former Essex captain, who's batting coach with the Vipers. That's pushed out on the offside, no run. And if you include Charlotte Taylor, who's a current player, obviously, we've got a whole side here, and James Hibbert, who's part of the Vipers coaching staff as well. So we were working on Wayne Noon. I think he's former Leicestershire and Northants, I think, who's actually the match manager. So that is an incredibly good side of ex-players. And so many so that I think even one or two of them might not even get in their own ex-players side. So that adds Chris Schofield onto that, who's on the ground as well. Incredible.
Amazing.
Don't worry, Charlotte, you're in the side, don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Heather Graham then to start a new over. She's through 3 overs so far. She bowls to Adams, and that's kicked up horribly off a length. Hit Adams on the glove. Nasty one. Gets through for a single as it comes down in front of us to third. Subfielder, looks like Michaela Kirk's on as a subfielder at the moment. Unsure who she's gone off for. I'll keep you updated on that one. Somebody's just having a little rest or some treatment or something. 92 for 2 the score here. Graham again bowls halfway down. Just nudged into the offside by Georgia Elwiss. Doesn't pick up a single though. That helicopter's back above us somewhere. Circled round once. It's going back over us once more.
Yeah, be behind us and then go forward by the sounds of it. That's what he did earlier. If it's the same one. Loud one.
It's a bit lower maybe this time. Graham on top of her mark. Bowls to Elwiss down the leg side and gets the glove of Elwiss. It's running away again. It's going to be 4 more. It's going to be wides actually. I thought it might have just touched Elwiss's glove as it runs down in front of the pavilion for 4. But it's called wides. 97 for 2.
And there it is. I know it's down the leg side and it's a difficult one for the keeper anyway, but there's an example of what you're saying about what Rihanna Southby was saying. If you're standing up, it's difficult.
So maybe those bowlers that you normally would stand up to, and it's no sort of disregard of the pace of the bowling, but maybe just to save those extra few runs in the field, standing back is the way, just to give yourself that time to move.
I think you've got to.
She's gone back now. Bryce waits for Heather Graham, who bowls a short, wide one outside the off stump. It's carved into the covers. Slight misfield by Bryce. Doesn't concede a second. Those are the types of ones earlier, the misfield that happened in the deep, because it's so far away, square of the wicket. Catherine Bryce herself was running back for 2. George Elwiss said no on this occasion. Possibly is that where they could make a little change to grab that additional run. Graham in again, bowls again, short delivery, played out into the offside by Adams. We'll collect 1 more to her total. She moves to 39.
41 balls, I make that. It's good scoring rate.
Just sitting below 100, 99 for 2, the Vipers, in pursuit of 279 set by the Blaze earlier on today. Good contributions all the way down their order. Graham in again. Gets another sharp one to bounce off a length. Hits the stomach of Elwiss as she pops forward onto the front foot to try and defend it. It's an ugly bounce. You hit a good line and length here. It's not easy, actually.
It isn't, but it's weird, isn't it? The ball seems to run away quickly here. The ball is coming on, generally, pretty well to the bat. And yet we're saying, yes, it's a little bit up and down and it's a little bit too pace, but the scores today have been good. I think generally
good wicket. It's just occasional bit of horrible bounce you've got to watch out for. Graham in again, bowls to Elwiss. He drops that into the offside. They're setting off for a quick single. Adams wants 1, and they've managed to get there. A good bit of fielding in the infield, but wasn't enough to prevent the single. That's 100 up for the Vipers inside, or just on the conclusion of the 17th over. Vipers are 100 for 2.
Cassidy McCarthy with an extravagant bit of fielding there in the covers and hit Georgia Elwiss on the back of the leg. Has she got any grievance with Georgia Elwiss when she was on the Vipers Academy?
But they played for Sussex together as well.
Yeah, well, must be something between them.
Yeah, no, probably just a bad throw. That's okay. We've all been there.
Yeah, 18 overs gone.
Oh, 18, sorry.
Yeah.
Not over behind.
Yeah, that's sometimes the board is...
sometimes it's really quick and sometimes it's really slow.
Yeah, it varies a little bit. But 18 gone, 100 for 2, which means the run rate required from here is still just a fraction over 5.5 and over. That's certainly nothing to worry about. Ice cream man is still here, or ice cream person, I should say. I'm not quite sure who's actually serving the ice creams. Now we've got a new bowler, and we've got a bit of leg break bowling, and that's cut away by Elwiss. We've got, is this Josie Groves?
It is.
Yeah, with her leg breaks. She too was bowling in the Charlotte Edwards Cup finals, wasn't she, a couple of weeks ago at Derby?
It does get an awful lot of turn, a bit of top spin, if anything, from Josie Groves.
Bowls to Adams. Adams drives. They'll go for at least a single, maybe two actually. It's gone out to deep extra cover. The fielder's at deep cover. 2 it is.
Well placed shot from Adams.
Heather Graham is doing the boundary duties away to our left. In front of the currently closed down fast food outlets. Just the one little fast food outlet, wasn't there? Well, it wasn't. You don't call that fast. It was almost like a tuck shop.
Yeah, it was
actually,
a tuck
it was,
shop,
wasn't it?
yeah.
That we went for lunch just by the side of the pavilion. That's a cutaway. They were incredibly accommodating. That's cut away by Adams to deep point, and that'll be a single. There was cakes there. They said, well, we'll do sandwiches. Well, what do you want? We'll make them. So we had a couple of those. A couple of other things as well, and no problem at all. Very nice. Groves bowls, flighted, driven by Elwiss out to point. Oh, it's misfielded. Well, that's a bad misfield, that one. Who's that?
Teresa Graves.
Yeah, that was a regulation pickup that just slipped through her hands. 105 for 2 then. Georgia Adams on 42, facing the next delivery from Josie Groves with her leg breaks, and Adams gets wrapped to the pad coming forward there. Shouts. Not out, says Amy Clark. I think the umpires on the whole been good today, haven't they?
Yep.
That's sometimes...
If they go unnoticed, it usually means that...
Yeah, it does, and also 1 or 2 LBW as soon as you go, you sort of take a sharp intake of breath. I don't think any of us have done that so far. They've been good. Cut away and missed by Adams this time, maybe just a fraction too far away from the ball as she was trying to execute that one. So 19 gone. The total is 105. Yeah, just watching that replay in slow motion, the ball hasn't really spun, or it hasn't sort of just gripped and straightened. Probably saved Georgia Adams there, probably just nipping down. So McGacken 26 from 43, she was the second wicket to go. Charlie not before that, 8 from 8.
Heather Graham to continue from the lake end, the river end, the all bodies of water end. Puddle if it was raining. It's not raining. Starts a new over. She bowled 4 overs so far, 1 for 19. Starts a new one here. Bowls to Elwiss, who clips that off her hip nicely into the leg side. We'll pick up 1 at least. The misfield allows a second. And there's an overthrow as well, so they're going to come back for 3. As Elwiss was attuned to it and calls Adams through, so they pick up 3 runs. So a bonus 2 for what should have been a simple single, turned into a rather expensive 3.
Oh, yeah, was that Lucy Hine backing up? Didn't pick it up cleanly.
108 for 2 now. Adams 42 not out. Elwiss with her on 16. Graham runs towards us. Bowls to Adams a bit uppishly. To mid-off.
Came round that one a little bit.
In our home of cricket. They just want to see their vice president thrive in her obviously natural surroundings.
Correct. Hometown club.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you have to talk to her after the game just to ask her about that. Heather Graham runs past the umpire. It's an inside edge to Adams coming forward on the front foot. Gets one to fine leg. Teresa Graves comes in off the rope to do the fielding. One more to the total, 109 for 2.
She'll have a picture up on the board if she gets some
Wall of
runs
Fame.
here. Here's our vice president hitting the winning runs against the Blaze.
Love it. Elwiss then, high backlift, waits for Graham. He's past the umpire now, bowls on the legs of Elwiss, clips it leg side. McCarthy runs round to her left as well.
Yeah, quick into that one.
Much better fielding from the Blaze. 110 for 2. Michaela Kirk still on the field. I'm not quite sure who she's on the field for. Let me see if I can work it out. Maybe it's Ballinger. I can't see Ballinger. Boulder opening spell. Let's come off the field for a moment. Graham in again. A short delivery this time. Pulled into the leg side by Adams. We'll get one if they run quickly. She'll get one only. As McCarthy does the fielding out there. Another one to her total. 44. Scores on 1-1-1. All Vipers fans stand on one leg immediately.
40 these two have so far put on.
Good partnership, isn't it, between the Georges? They so often get together and
Isn't
just
it?
feel like an element of calm in the camp. Graham in again, halfway down, pulled into the leg side by Elwiss. She's quick onto that, she'll get 4. Pulled hard into the leg side, backward a square. And it's a good finish to the 20th over, 115 for 2.
That's a super shot, Georgia Elwiss, to move on to 21. She is now, well, she did a few runs ago actually, past 1,000 runs in 50 over List A cricket
Amazing.
in her 33rd match for the Vipers. So good milestone. Congratulations to her on that one. So the Vipers at 115 for 2 from 20 now need, in this situation, 164, and that run rate required is still hovering around the 5.5 from here on in mark. Cut away by Adams out to deep point. Start of a new over from Josie Groves. The Blaze bowling figures to date: Ballinger 4 overs, 1 for 22. Catherine Bryce 5 overs, none for 26. Kirsty Gordon 5 overs, none for 31. Josie Groves into a second over. Her first over went for 5. As Elwiss is forward, plays it out on the onside. Heather Graham's 5 overs, 1 for 20. I think it's about 25. My computer's just stuck for a moment. It's unusual because the Wi-Fi here is good, and everything's been really good today. Everything's worked nicely as that's pushed away on the leg side. In fact, that's a sweep that's going very fine, and that's going for 4 runs from Georgia Elwiss. She's powering along here. 25 not out for Georgia Elwiss. And that's come off 25 deliveries. A runnable 25 for her. Vipers
She's been
120
so
for
good
2.
with the bat this year for the Vipers. Just steady Eddie.
She has. Who's Eddie, by the way?
I don't know.
Here's Groves, bowls, and that's a length ball, and Elwiss waiting for the call, and Adams says, yes, we're running. It's gone out to point, so a single it is. 121 for 2.
Steady Georgia doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it really? Steady Ellie? No?
Steady Georgia. 121 for 2. An applause for...
Maybe it's the 1,000 runs thing, maybe they're late on it.
There must be. It's a very calm forward defensive there from Georgia Adams. I'm not sure why they're clapping. Somebody will let us in on the joke. Maybe the Duckworth-Lewis par score, which is exactly 100. I don't know. Maybe they just put that up. Who claps the Duckworth-Lewis par score?
Me now, every time. I make a habit of it.
Now that is flighted, and Adams, who's almost yorked, works that up to mid-on. 122 for 2, and Adams moves on to 46 at the end of that over. 21 overs gone, so 4 overs until there's a quick break. 21 overs, the Blaze had 107, so the Vipers are well ahead at the same stage.
Ballinger back on the field. She's obviously maybe got some treatment. Bowled 4 overs at the start. Was a little bit wayward actually. 4 overs, 1 for 22. Did pick up the wicket of Charlie Knott, who's now stretching extravagantly in front of us, making sure she doesn't stiffen up before she gets on that bus later.
Just realised what they were clapping the 50 partnership, because it is now 51.
Got you.
Which is the second highest partnership
So not the list of runs.
of the innings. No, so it wasn't. It wasn't for the Duckworth-Lewis 100 up.
I preferred that one though.
I do. It sounded better.
No over. Cassidy McCarthy then to bowl her first over of today. Was up for a golden duck earlier on, trying to take it to the Vipers at the back end of their innings. Bowls to Adams, who tries to work that leg side. I was just thinking she just looks a lot quicker than I've seen her in recent times. Yeah, looks quicker. McCarthy.
Got a bit stronger.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've seen her bowl quite a lot with the Vipers Academy and being around the Vipers squad. What does she look to do?
Just angle the ball back in maybe a little bit. She bowls to Adams, a full delivery, and Adams works it back with a square on the leg side. Elwiss wants to come back for the second. Needs to be quick, a direct hit, and I think she's gone. That's really unlucky. It's a really good bit of fielding out there from Lucy Hyam, who was quick to the ball, got the throw away quickly and hit the base of the stumps. When you're talking about fielding and throwing the ball back in, hit the base of the stumps. And it's Adams that's been run out. I do say she was unlucky, but maybe there wasn't a second there, but it's not very often that you hit that. If she had time to gather the ball, Sarah Brush, I don't think she would have run her out, so it needed to be a direct hit. And Adams is gone. 46 for her, 122 for 3 now.
Yeah, I don't know whether she just chanced the armour there a little bit and probably backed herself. You could see about halfway through she knew she was struggling. And that's an interesting one with the keeper, because he's actually trying to take that in front of the stumps. I presume it was the ball that did hit the stumps and not the gloves. Do you want to take a break,
Sure.
Charlotte? Have a little break, you've earned it. We've got Nigel Mallender, who's the chairman of the Chesterfield Cricket Club here. He's going to come in and join us for a few overs. Thank you, Charlotte. Nigel, welcome.
Hi Kevin, how are you?
Well, very well. How's things going?
Yeah, really good, really good. Good gaming prospect, nicely poised, good weather.
Well, that's all you need, isn't it?
Very
Guaranteed
happy.
success.
Very, very happy, very happy.
Just going to move you a little bit there as well.
you.
Right, we'll come to a bit more on that in a moment. Just to give an update of the score here, 123 for 3, and it was Georgia Adams that was run out for 46. So here's that Cassidy McCarthy from the Lake End. Well, that's a short ball to Emily Windsor. Bouncer. Called a no ball. So, you're in the middle of a run of fixtures here, aren't you? Because you've had Derbyshire here before, and they're coming back again, aren't they, later on?
Yep, we've had a county championship game, 4-day, Sunday through to, should have been Wednesday.
Here's Cassidy McCarthy, bowls, and Windsor gets wrapped on the pad.
Unfortunately, it finished in 3 days. Or you could say, fortunately, if you're a Yorkshire fan, unfortunately, if you're a Derbyshire fan, and unfortunately, if you're Chesterfield Cricket Club chairman.
Because you miss out on a bit of revenue, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. But there was some good cricket. Derbyshire didn't play quite so well. Yorkshire had a really good game.
Yeah. What sort of crowd did you have for that? Because I noticed there's absolutely loads of chairs. Well, that's nipped back and bounced on Windsor. Gets wrapped high on the thigh pad there.
So it was well attended. Yeah, day one on Sunday we had about 2,100 in the ground, which for Championship cricket's great. I think probably 1,400 day one, similar amount day two. We've got the big one coming up on Sunday, Derbyshire-Yorkshire T20 Blast match.
Yeah, you're obviously expecting a big one for that. McCarthy bowls. That's cut away. Windsor's caught. Backward a point. She goes. Josie Groves taking the catch. Emily Windsor goes for no score. And the Vipers have lost 2 quick wickets here, and the Blaze are getting themselves on top.
Well poised, I think. Yeah, so Sunday we've got the Blast match that starts at 2:30, and I think for the last 5 years it's been a 5,000 sellout. So it's amazing, really. I always look around and think, how can we get 5,000 people in the ground? But the grass banks are, stacked up all the way, and it's a wonderful occasion. Absolutely superb. We're well placed. We're on the doorstep of South Yorkshire, so you've got a lot of Yorkshire fans that come down here, and a lot of North Derbyshire fans. So it's probably, the ground's probably 50-50 between Yorkshire and Derbyshire fans.
Right. So your ideal fixture is Derbyshire, Yorkshire.
Yeah, it is. It is. When it gets to crunching some fixtures through the ECB computer every year, I think we're always quite keen for Yorkshire to come here. I know Ryan Duckett at Derbyshire is too. It just makes perfect sense, to be honest. We will sell it out here. I'd like to have a little bit more here if we possibly could, but it is a tremendous effort to put these fixtures on here and move the infrastructure from Derby. There's a lot of effort that goes on from the county club, from the borough council, from ourselves as the cricket club. But as you can see, Kevin, I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful setting, and as we were talking off air a little bit earlier, you've done okay here yourself in the past.
Well, I don't like to mention it. Of course I don't. No, well, it's my first time back here since mid-90s, I think, or
Is it
whatever.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
never been back
Wow.
since, and I remember it as a nice ground, not because it's a nice ground. Here's Cassidy McCarthy, bowls to Abby Norgrove, who's the new batter for the Vipers. Thinks about a single, called through by Georgia Elwiss. Vipers move on to 125 for 4. Yeah, I was lucky. I got 100 here for Hampshire against Derbyshire, who in that game included the likes of Dominic Cork.
Wow, yeah, okay. Kim Barnett,
Devon Malcolm.
Ollie Mortensen.
Ollie Mortensen.
Yes. And at that time, I guess Mark Nicholas would have been the Hampshire
Yes.
captain. David Gower.
Yes.
I want to say Robin Smith, but maybe Chris Smith.
Chris Smith.
Cardigan Connor.
Yes.
It was a good side.
It was all right, and I think, and I have to look this up because I did look it up before, but I didn't. I just, you know, when you come back to
names behind the stumps.
Adrian Ames would have been behind the stumps. I think Dean Jones was playing.
Wow, yeah.
I'm sure I spoke to him in the
okay.
dressing room because it rained a bit. It was a game that rained a bit,
Right.
and I'm sure Dean Jones came into our dressing room and had a chat.
So
The
it's-
late Dean Jones, of course.
So it was a good 100.
Well,
Good
I
attack.
mean, hey, you know. Well, listen. Now we're on the subject, and I don't like going on about things and like that. But I'll tell you now that if I can find the scorecard just to prove it, I'll come back to that in a moment. Josie Groves is continuing with her leg breaks, and she's bowling to Abby Norgrove. There's a slip in now for Norgrove, who's driving into the covers no run. At the time, it was the lowest team total in an innings, with two guys getting 100. So Chris Smith got 100, I got 100. We were all out for 2-3-2. Nobody else got double figures. It was one of those weird anomalies, you know, when you get that sort of thing.
that would be a good
And I always
one to
remember
see.
the ground for that. Norgrove's trying to work that away on the onside. The ball spews out on the off. So, you know, I remember, and Chris Smith, who now lives in Australia, came over at the end of last season just for a couple of weeks with his wife and that, and we went out for dinner with a few others, ex-players. And the first thing he brought up was, do you remember that time at Chesterfield? And he says that he's still got the scorecard up in his office in Perth, in
that's
Western
great.
Australia.
That's great.
That's a cutaway by Norgrove. You know, as a momentum. I mean, he played for England and, you know, what have you, for a few games, but he always remembers this game. You know, as it was a little bit of a record. You know,
Yeah,
it was quite
yeah.
nice. So, what's your involvement with cricket, then, Nigel?
Well, I certainly didn't play the standard that you did, Kevin. I played Derbyshire Premier League for a while, and that was really when I sort of started here at Chesterfield. My uncle actually was a former Chesterfield chairman and first team captain, late 70s, early 80s. So I've always had an affinity with the club. As you can tell by the accent, I am a Yorkshire lad, but I moved down here 25, 26 years ago, married a Chesterfield girl. We've had a little daughter since then who struts around. In fact, I'm surprised you've not seen her yet. She struts around the outfield on a scooter as if it's her little empire. But she's great. She keeps me fit, that's for sure, and certainly keeps her mum fit. But I became chairman here about 2.5 years ago. I stopped playing 7-8 years ago, and then took a little bit of a break. I was always involved behind the scenes with sponsorship and in the committee and what have you, but I took a bit of a back seat when we were trying for our little daughter when she came along. And then, about 2.5 years ago, the vice chairman had a chat and said, "Now come on, we'd like you to take on the role of chairman." We'd lost our previous chairman, an amazing guy who passed away after a long illness, and so there were big boots to fill. I thought about it for a good chunk of time, whether I had the time, the energy for the role, and decided it was the right time, and here I am 2.5 years later, a few more wrinkles, a little bit less hair, always forget to put the sun cream on as well when I'm in the sun, but it's good fun. You know, it is a bit of a labour of love at times, Kevin, I don't mind telling you, but I feel like, you know, we're in a great place as a club, and the icing on the cake is fixtures like today.
That's for sure. I was going to ask you about the association with the Blaze. It's Cassidy McCarthy from the Lake End. I think I've got that right. Norgrove gets hit on the pad. I looked it up before I came, so glad to see it's still called the Lake End.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little about the lake at the front, because I can't see it because of the trees. But was it a boating lake?
Yeah, it is. Not so much boating anymore now. I think what they tend to do is, there's great bird life in the park, and we've got Puffin Bill in the train that you'll have heard several times, and your listeners will have done as well.
I think it's about 68 or something.
Yeah,
rings, whatever.
Well, the Borough Council actually, because they shut the park, you can see at the far end there at the lake behind the side screens that there is a children's playground, but when we have special fixtures like today, they shut the park, and as a compromise what they do is they give the kids free rides on Puffin Billy, the train that goes round. Just there it is again in the background. But no, we're so lucky. It's an amazing place to play and watch cricket.
McCarthy's bowling. There was a bit of bounce on McCarthy there as it goes past the edge through to Bryce.
And we always get visitors as well. The thing that always amazes me is I remember last year, Yorkshire-Derbyshire 4-day game here, and I walked around the ground as I often do before the start of play, and there was 4 guys just down the left-hand side, to the long on as you're looking from here now. 4 guys that had come up from Gloucestershire for the day. And I said, what on earth are you doing here? And they said, we came here a couple of 3 years ago. It's our favourite ground in the country.
Wow.
And so they make an effort to come up every year. So it's clearly got a pull for many people, both, you know, at the fixtures themselves. But it's a fabulous place to be part of. It really is.
I'd forgotten. I mean, as I say, it was the 90s when I was here, and it did rain during the game. So it's like every ground. You don't necessarily see those grounds in their best possible light. But today it's been sunny for 90% of the time, and it just feels gorgeous. It really does. McCarthy bowls, and Norgrove's driving and playing and missing. Again, it's gone through to Bryson. Again, there's a slip in at the moment. I mean, because it's a park and it's a cricket ground within a park, that kind of gives it its unique character, isn't it?
It does, yeah. And we the amount of people that have played here over the years that say it's the favourite ground. I mean, I was talking to Dickie Bird last Sunday. He was here with, as you do, yeah.
He rang the bell, didn't he?
He rang the bell, yes.
That's a lovely shot. That's pulled away by Norgrove. Now, I think that's 6. It is, over mid-wicket. Sorry to interrupt there, Nigel.
Absolutely.
Norgrove, what a shot. To finish off that over.
I'm just going to find something to tell you about in a moment, really. But
134 for 4.
Yeah, we had Dickie Bird on Sunday, and Jeff Boycott on Monday, and then Alan Hill.
Yes, sir.
Alan Hill rang the bill on Tuesday, and then John Stanworth earlier today. So I said to John earlier today, I said, you've got big boots to fill, but he was nevertheless very happy to ring the bell for us today. But no, it's a wonderful setting, and we did a publication last year because it was 15 years since Chesterfield won the Derbyshire Premier League, and that was the original motivation towards doing the brochure, putting the brochure together.
Groves bowls and Elwiss is forward. Of course, Norgrove through for a quick single. Out on the offside, so 135 for 4. We're in the 25th over.
But it turned into something a little bit bigger than that. We had pieces from Jeff Miller, Jonathan Agnew, Ray Julian. You know, they were all contributing towards the publication with their favourite memories of Queen's Park. But what was also very, very nice, and I'm going to get you a copy of this, by the way, before you leave today, because it's quite a nice little memento for you of what we've done here. But in the centre pages, we've got a number of quotes from past professionals of their time in Queen's Park here.
Is Groves with a leg spin again. Forward is Elwiss. It goes out to point. No run.
And apparently, it's Sachin Tendulkar's favourite ground. Now, I don't know, he may say that to everybody, but there's a lovely quote from Sachin Tendulkar in the centre pages, and Jeff Boycott, Graham Gooch, plenty of Derbyshire guys as well, of course.
Oh, that's turned. It's gone past the outside edge. So that's lovely. What's a real shame, and I guess it's because now Derbyshire have been a second division side now for quite a while, it's probably not being shown, you know what I mean? It's not getting the prominence perhaps that from what you're saying there, and sweep shot there off the pad, half shout for an LBW, no run there. So it's not, maybe if Derbyshire were Division 1 side and playing here, then there'd be a lot more media here and there would be more sort of said about the ground.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Derbyshire, I mean, it's been frustrating for them really, because I think when Mickey Arthur became coach, he's in his 3rd season now. In his 1st season, they looked like they were really going to push on and do really well. But I think 1 or 2 departures over the winter. I know that Leas Deploy went down to Middlesex, and he was a big shoes to fill. David Lloyd's come in as captain, and he's a tremendous fella, and I know he cares passionately about the game and the club. But there's been quite a few changes, and when you change the team, whatever level it is, Test, professional, first class, or even club, it takes a bit of time for people, I think, to find their place in the team, find their role in the team. So, yeah, transitional stage. I think they probably are going through that. The members, I think, on Tuesday were a little bit frustrated because they did play poorly here. Yeah. But I'm always a big believer that you have to look at the opposition, and Yorkshire played very, very well. They bowled really, really well on the first day. Ben Code had just come back from injury, and I think he's a quality bowler, yeah. I really do. And then they went out and got 450 in the first innings, so a maximum batting point, so it tells you what a good pitch it was. And a young lad for Yorkshire, James Wharton, he was a great, it was a great innings, a really, really good guy I think they've got a good one there, I really do.
Yeah. So we're in the break here, drinks break, 25 overs gone, 25 to do, 137 for 4, which means the Vipers from here need another 143 runs, and that rate from here is just a fraction actually above 5 and a bit. It's about 5.6 or so. They're just taking a break. Now the Blaze, because obviously playing here today. How many games have you been able to host here with the Blaze?
So the first sort of connection with the Blaze happened last year. We hosted the Blaze versus Northern Diamonds last July. It was a terrific day. It was a beautiful day, which always helps when you go and come along to watch the cricket, or when you stage a special fixture. Chris Guest, the head coach, and James Cutt, the director of cricket, seemed to really enjoy it, and they were keen to come back this year. So we've got them today, obviously, and then we've got them again towards the back end of the season. I think Friday, the 6th of September, against Central Sparks. So we're delighted to host them. They're a really, really good bunch, and women's cricket for me is just going to a whole different level. It's so exciting to watch. The skills are just getting better and better and better. And somebody told me the other week, I think it's actually the fastest growing sport in the UK, even ahead of football, which is just wonderful. It's for me, it's the greatest game of all, and I think that the more people that we can get involved with the game and keep pushing it, men, women, whoever it would be, all around the world, I think it's just great for the game. So yeah, we've got a great hookup with the Blaze, and I said to you earlier, Kevin, it's a heck of an effort when we put these special fixtures on, but we are keen to do more, just to showcase.
Put yourself out.
Absolutely, showcase the club, the ground. It's great for the town. On Sunday, thousands of people are going to come into the town, and the pubs, the catering places, the trains, the buses, the taxis. They're all going to be absolutely heaving, which is great. Yeah. Absolutely great.
Obviously, the club's lucky to have people like yourself, keeping it in the forefront and trying to push it forward. So obviously the Blaze, as the Blaze started last year. So were you hosting Lightning fixtures before that?
No, we didn't. They approached us because they were keen to sort of push the boundaries in terms of.
Down the leg side start of a new over from Cassidy McCarthy. It's called a wide.
Yeah, they were keen to push the boundaries really in terms of their catchment. So we're probably the furthest north in terms of where they go, but they get well looked after here, and I think that's probably goes for a lot of the outgrounds. A lot of the players like coming to the outgrounds for many reasons, not least because they get well looked after when it comes to catering and drinks and what have you. Sure. It's not the contract catering. We've got a great bunch of volunteers in the pavilion who produce some fantastic meals at lunch and tea.
That's the main part of it. That's cut away by Norgrove out towards Backwood Point, and the score remains on 138. For 4, and of course, I talk now from a media point of view, and everything just works fine, and that's important. I'm sure you know that. You don't need me to tell you that, but I think the media are the first to moan if the Wi-Fi is not good or something else. I mean, everything I have to say has worked an absolute dream. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Here's McCarthy again, bowls and keeps a little low down the leg side. I think that would be another wide, which it is. But the Blaze is no longer of course, after
Yeah,
this year,
big
same as the
change.
Southern Vipers.
Yes.
You know. So you will have your own county team now, Derbyshire. I know they're not Tier 1. So what have there been discussions there about? Do you host Derbyshire women here or what?
Yeah, there's been discussions, and I think actually I'm hoping we've got to talk about this with the Blaze over the off season, but I'm hoping that they will still want to come here.
Really?
Given the crowds and the publicity that it brings. But yes, we do host Derbyshire women as well. In fact, 2 Sundays ago we had Derbyshire, Lancashire and Yorkshire women here for a T20 finals day, and that was good. Well attended. Sun was out for that day as well, actually. You remember them, don't you? Because they're few and far between. But yeah, we would like to carry on sort of hosting. I'm really, really keen to keep pushing women's cricket in Chesterfield here forwards. Right. As a club, we are really trying to develop our women's section that bit more as well.
Sure.
And you mentioned a moment ago about the Wi-Fi and what have you as well, Kevin. That for me is key, and it's really good to hear that, because although we are a club, cricket club, at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that our facilities keep moving forwards, not only for the offering that we give to our members, but also for our special visitors. And we had fibre internet and new access routers and equipment put in over the winter by our IT partners. And it's
important. I know. And a lot of people. I go to a lot of grounds like you do, and so that's overlooked. Now it's fine. Obviously some grounds don't get to host these type of fixtures, so you think, okay, that's fair enough. But the ones that do, it's vitally important if you want to hold on to the fixtures, because that would be taken into account. And you know all this, I'm sure, but it is a big part of it, as well as obviously giving the players what they want and what have you. You talk about members. You're talking about members from the Chesterfield Cricket Club point of view, because I find this interesting as Norgrove pushes that out to mid-off. You heard a clap earlier, by the way. That was Georgia Elwiss, who cut Cassidy McCarthy down to third for a boundary. So it's 144 for 4 currently, the Vipers. So you've also got a few members, because when you start going north, cricket clubs become part of the community more, don't they? And I guess, so Chesterfield, I don't know Chesterfield that well. I stayed in town last night. It doesn't feel the biggest of places. You're close to the centre here, as it gets wrapped on the pad there, Norgrove. Are you very much part of the community, and does that reflect in your membership and what you do?
Yeah, it does. I think, to be completely honest with you, I think because it's such a prestigious ground, prestigious club, I think there was probably a misconception for a while that you almost had to be part of Chesterfield Cricket Club by invitation. And even probably when I took this role on a couple of 3 years ago, there was still possibly that misconception in 1 or 2 areas. So that's been a key driver for me to actually overcome that. And what we've got now is we've got a true community club. Where we're based here at Queen's Park, we're actually on the doorstep of 1 or 2 of probably the most underprivileged areas in Chesterfield, in St Augustine's and Boythorpe. And what's been great is we're trying to create more links with the local schools. So the club have actually contributed towards developing a new role with Shape Sports Partnership. What that has meant is there's been 3 stakeholders, and we basically clubbed together to actually fund a community coach role, where a coach actually goes into the local schools to actually promote hockey and cricket, just those 2 sports. And it was wonderful here 2 weeks ago. We had a Shape Sports Cricket Day here. I think there was 4 schools present, and 2 schools had never really picked a bat or ball up before. And so that's good. So we're very proud of our community links, and we're actually very, very proud of our diversity and equality as well. I know they're big buzzwords in cricket at the moment, but it is a good thing to keep stressing. And we've got a Sri Lankan head coach here now, or assistant head coach I should say, and we've got a Sri Lankan overseas player. Okay. And I never knew we had a Sri Lankan community here in Chesterfield before those guys came on board, and we've had a number of guys come down here and have one-to-ones, and it's great to see. We have 100 kids here on a Wednesday night on training nights at various age groups, from sort of under 5 all the way up to under 19s, and that's what gives me the satisfaction. That's what it's all about. It really, really is. Seeing the next generation come through and take this great game of ours up.
145 for 4 here. The Vipers were in the 27th over. Remember, they're chasing 279 for victory. Josie Groves is continuing with her leg breaks. She's bowling to Abby Norgrove, who's on the back foot, steers that into the covers. A single is taken. She moves on to 11. Georgia Elwiss out there on 34 not out. Nigel Mander, the Chesterfield Cricket Club Chem is alongside me. You mentioned about all the youngsters and what have you. You've obviously got a women's section here.
Yeah, we have. We've got a women's softball team. I'm keen to push it on even more, Kevin. To be honest, I'm keen to use these fixtures as a platform for us to actually push on and getting a hardball team. Not for any bad reason at all, but I think we were probably a year or two behind, I should say, maybe one or two other clubs in the area, but we're certainly getting there now and readdressing the balance. And I don't think there's any other clubs really certainly in the north of the county that can say that they stage top level women's cricket like we do as well. So the Blaze have been great with that as well, with offers of help for coaching our women and kids and everything like that, and it's just, I think it's a great time to be part of our club. It really is.
Fantastic. And it's the fact that the Blaze still want to play here even when everything changes, because I think they might be keeping their name at Nottingham Blaze. I've heard a rumour.
I've heard the same.
Yeah,
I've heard the same.
I didn't want to say that in front of Nick Newell, because he's the director of cricket there, but yeah, I'd heard that as a third hand. But that sounds good that you've endorsed that as well. Let's pull it away on the leg side, and that'll be 4 runs. Georgia Elwiss moves on to 39, and the Vipers move. I've got a 147. 151 for 4. Good scoreboard, by the way. That keeps up really well. Yeah, good. You're smiling knowingly.
yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I've been really keen to do, and I've touched upon it before, Kevin, but investing in the infrastructure is absolutely vital here. And I'm looking around the ground at some of the things that we've done over the last few years, and I have to be honest. I went down to Trent Bridge a couple of weeks ago. My wife surprised me with tickets, got a few of my pals down there, and we went to watch Derbyshire versus Nottinghamshire. And at the end of the day, the groundsman got the hose pipes out and they were connecting up to the irrigation system. Well, we've just had a new irrigation system put in here at Queen's Park.
Oh, right.
And I was actually sat there getting excited by the hose pipes they used. So I got a lot of stick about that, as you can imagine.
You must be a real fun guy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was rocking and rolling that night, I really was. But no, we spent the best part of £20,000 having a new irrigation system put in. So there's a couple of take-off points on each corner of the square, and ironically we put that in, I think, last May, June. Well, it hadn't stopped raining, had it, up until recently. So all the other guys on the committee, the vice chair, who are getting really well with a guy called Tim Kirk. Tim's just taking it out with me, so many times since.
That's pulled away by Georgia Elwiss through mid-wicket. That could go also the way, or is he going to get stopped? It is. It's stopped just inside the boundary rope. Elwiss picks up 2. She moves on to 41, 153 for 4 now, the Vipers, in the 28th over. Can you just confirm this for me? Georgia Adams, who I didn't know until last week when she did some commentary with me down at the Utility Bowl, said that she's from here. All right?
Yeah,
I'd forgotten Chris Adams, of course.
Yeah.
And is she a vice president of the club?
She's not a vice president of the club, no, but she's a vice president of Friends of Queen's Park Cricket. And Friends of Queen's Park Cricket are a charity that was set up. It was almost like the brainchild of my predecessor, as I mentioned earlier, a guy called Mike Taylor. And they were set up really to try and protect the legacy and the heritage of cricket here in Queen's Park, but also to ensure that first-class cricket continues here at Queen's Park as well. And they've actually just funded, I guess you could say, and commissioned a book by a chap called David Griffin, who you'll know from Derbyshire as the Heritage Officer. And it's called The Jewel in Derbyshire's Crown. And it's basically being written about the history of the park and all the characters that have played here over the years. And it's a wonderful book. I got my copy last Friday. On Sunday. He released it on Sunday in conjunction with the festival and the 4-day game. And it's a really good read. I've only glimpsed at it yet because I've been so busy down here. But George is actually a vice president of Friends of Queen's Park Cricket, along with her dad, Chris Adams. But her uncle, David Adams, who's sadly no longer with us, he was a former first-team captain here at Chesterfield before he had a tragic accident. I think he fell down a flight of stairs whilst he was away, and the worst thing happened. So, but he was a real character, and the Adams family are always welcome down here. Sure. We've had some tremendous people here over the years. Jeff Miller's home ground, of course, as well. He played the test for England.
Right. Heard him speak at a dinner a few weeks ago. He's still going, as you know.
Oh, he is, one of the best
he's brilliant.
speakers.
Still brilliant.
Ian Blackwell's another native of Chesterfield. He came through our youth, set up Ross Whiteley, came through the youth system
I didn't know that.
And Slater, who opens the batting for Nottinghamshire. Matt Critchley's played here for a number of years. I can't claim him as one that's come through the ranks, but he's played here for a number of years as well. So we've got a real good, strong heritage of bringing through our own. But lots of other people that have played here that have played first class for England and so on.
Yeah. So Kirsty Gordon, the Blaze captain, is on with her left-arm spinners currently. She's bowling the 28th over. The Vipers are 155 for 4. Georgia Elwiss is 42 not out. Abby Norgrove is 12. Just before I let you go, what do you reckon here? So let's give you an exact total. So the Vipers need another 124 from 22.
Yeah, I think you'd have to say the Vipers actually at this stage probably look favourites. But I do think the Blaze bowling attack's quite nice and varied. They've got plenty of spin options, haven't they, taking the pace off it. So we'll see. It's a funny old game, isn't it? It really is. You
never know. One person gets in, like Georgia Elwiss, and keeps going. It's an easy total. She gets out, all of a sudden it looks difficult, doesn't it? A quick single up to the middle.
I think the great thing about it, though, Kevin, is the skills, as I said earlier, the skills when it comes to women's cricket now is just absolutely phenomenal. It really, really is. And they're so competitive and they're so fit and they take it. See, I was watching the Blaze guys warm up here yesterday. They had a training day here yesterday, and it was just great to see. They really are impressive watching them play and train. So long may it continue.
Yeah, they've already got one trophy in the bag.
Of course, yeah.
Hopefully they'll let somebody else win the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just well forward there. There's a big shout for an LBW not out, says Amy Clark, the umpire, and Georgia Elwiss comes through. Now she's got an inside edge onto it. No signal. An inside edge.
And something for your benefit as well, which will be, hopefully you'll see this when you give us pay us a visit again. A few weeks ago I spoke to David Griffin at Derbyshire. His knowledge for the game and statistics are just absolutely phenomenal. And I asked him to put an exercise, a project really together for me, where he actually got all of the hundreds scored on this ground in first class T20 or 50 over matches by the opposition who played Derbyshire, and also 5 wickets and 10 wickets. And we're going to put all that information on an honours board.
Oh my God!
So when you next come here, in fact, we will keep in touch after today.
Can I give you my number or something? Let's do
that. And I will send you a picture of that for when we've got that up and in place. I've actually placed the order. We've had 3 new honours boards put up in the pavilion over the off season. So we've got all our historical officials going back to 1915 or something. Every player that plays for Chesterfield first team gets a cap number assigned.
Wow. You've got it really organised, haven't you?
Well, my wife always says slow down, Kevin, because she'll say, Nigel, you don't have to do it all at the same time, but I'm an impatient so-and-so, and I've wanted to sort of hit the ground running. And we've got all our county players on an honours board in the bar area, and all our overseas players as well. But the next stage for me was to actually have a couple of honours boards that honours, no pun intended there, but basically pays tribute to the people that have played on this ground and done well on this ground, and some of the names on that, the opposition. You've got Bill Ponsford going back to the 30s, the famous Aussie batsman. You've got Adam Gilchrist, Sachin Tendulkar, Alvin Kalicharan, Peter Hartley for Yorkshire got a 9 for back in 1995.
Really? Still umpiring.
And it was the best bowling analysis, and nobody had got near to it until Ben Code got a 6 for earlier this week. So that was the best bowling analysis since Peter Hartley got his 9 for. So when you next come, you'll be up on our honours board.
And what I'll do is I'll give you a Chris Smith's email or something like that, who's in Australia, Perth. And as I say, from the story we went back when you first came on, about the first thing he mentioned to me when we did it last September, coming back from Australia, about he says, is that still a record? So he will absolutely love that. So we must get you in touch with him as well.
Kevin, it sounds brilliant, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is me trying to sell a future event to you here, but what we've done over the last couple of years is we've had some evenings here at the pavilion, so quite informal events, pie and peas followed by a bit of a talk, and we've had Kevin Sharp from Yorkshire.
Yes, Sharp.
Sharp is here on. In fact, he was here last
Is he?
Sunday as my guest. Him and his lovely wife Jeanette.
Oh, right,
and he's
yeah.
here on Sunday commentating for BBC Radio Leeds with Jonathan
Is he? With
Deutsch
Deutsche,
on
yeah.
the Blast match.
Yeah.
Sharpie came and did an evening with here. There's about 45 members from Chesterfield in the pavilion. And he's got some amazing stories. One, he had a fantastic career. I think he was the second youngest player to ever play for Yorkshire behind Brian Close.
That sounds about right, yes.
He got a big 100 for Young England at one stage.
Yes, I remember that.
170
Yeah,
odd.
yeah.
He scored 100 here for Derbyshire. And he also said that Michael Holding broke his heart on this ground. And where's this going? And it turned out Holding had bowled him a nasty one that hit him on the heart.
Not what I was just thinking, yeah.
We've had Paul Taylor as well, you know, the
Taylor
ex-Northants
yeah.
Northants seamer played a couple of test matches
Wow.
for England. Paul was here over, I think,
Wow.
March time. And they've both got some great stories.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, the well-being and the mental health angle, you know, it's obviously, thankfully now, it's much more in the public eye. You know, players have got a greater support channel and everything like that. But hearing, you know, the stories from Paul and Kevin, you know, it goes right the way back. And these guys, you'll have had the same. You never really had anybody to turn to when you were going through the tough times. So, you know, things do change for the better. But I think it was, you know, reassuring in many ways when you've got, you know, some of our young first team in the pavilion, and they've had some, you know, some of those guys have had the struggles. And, you know, they're hearing from Kevin Sharp and Paul Taylor about them doubting their own ability. And these were top county players, they really were. Yeah. So you never know.
Wow.
With your story about your hundreds with Chris, maybe we'll get you up and arrange something.
That's very kind of you, but listen, on the other way of that is, invite me up for one of those nights anyway, and I'll come up and I'll pay for a ticket and just come and enjoy an evening. And I'll stay in a hotel somewhere in the town and just do that. I'd love to do that at some point.
Love to see it.
All right.
Love to see it.
Nigel, thank you. Because you've got loads to do, I know you have.
And before you go, I will get you one of our Queen's Park Life brochures as well. You
That'd
can
be
take
really
that
nice.
away with you. So it's
Nigel,
been really
thank
nice
you.
to speak to you.
Seriously nice, thank you.
Cheers, Kevin. Thanks.
Nigel Mallender, the chairman of Chesterfield Cricket Club. What a nice guy. What a nice club. What a nice surroundings. And what a good game we've got in store here, because the game has been going on whilst we've been having that great chat. 165 for 4, the Vipers. We are in the 31st over. And if you're a Vipers fan, fortunately, Georgia Elwiss is still out there, as is Abbey Norgrove. Georgia Elwiss is 44 not out, 90 not Abbey Norgrove, and Charlotte Taylor is back after a well-earned rest. How are you?
I'm good. I feel a bit bad.
No, not at all. What a seriously nice guy. And he's obviously really pushing this club forward, which all clubs need.
Look like you were deep in conversation.
Well, it's just nice, hearing some of the stuff going on here. It's lovely. And
Exciting.
yeah. Kirsty Gordon's bowling, and driving is Elwiss, and it goes out into the covers, and there is no run. So these two now have put on 41 for the 5th wicket. 2 quick wickets, wasn't there, when Georgia Owens was run out, and then Emily Windsor out for no score. Vipers were 122 for 2, 124 for 4 as Elwiss placed that back to the bowler. But a nice break for you as well, because I know it's quite tough, isn't it? 2 of us. It's hard enough talking to me for 10 minutes, let alone
No,
100
it's
overs.
not. You say it's a challenge. It's really not. It's a pleasure. I'm just suffering with a tree pollen now. It's becoming a bit of an issue.
Oh, no. Well, there's plenty of trees around here, so I can quite understand that. Another single to Elwiss out on the offside. Farming the strike there. There's the senior player. She's 45 not out, 166 for 4, which means from here, the Vipers need 113 from 19 overs. So that run rate is currently standing at just over 5 3/4. It has actually, even though it's ever so slightly, the run rate required is actually building.
Only just. Only just. But will that be enough to see the Vipers batters struggle under pressure? We will find out. I'm just having a look at Georgia Elwiss's last few games, because she's been in such good form this season so far. Let's have a little look at that. So 65 not out against Hove on Sunday.
At Hove.
At Hove, yeah. 27 not out against the Diamonds. This was in the T20 competition, obviously. 45 against the Storm. 73 not out against the Sunrisers
Very steady.
over the last few weeks.
I just
Good
wonder how much. I
contributions.
just wonder how much more she'll continue
You still
playing.
going on that cookie?
Yeah, well, I've been talking.
Been
non-stop.
chit-chatting.
I know.
The return of Heather Graham then from the Lake End bowls to Elwiss, who's forward in defence, pushing forward at that one. And there is no run. Elwiss is 45 not out here. Adams making 47, sorry. Abby Norgrove, young Abby Norgrove with her on 19. Playing our hand. Graham in again, bowls to Elwiss, gets the outside edge of her bat, runs it fine towards Ballinger in front of us at third. Does the fielding, picks up one more.
Yeah, Abby Norgrove.
167 for 4.
Sorry, yeah, Abby Norgrove, very much the junior partner here. Only her 9th game in this competition. Still only, what, 19?
Yeah.
She's from the Oxfordshire side of
Yes,
the
she
Vipers,
is, yeah.
isn't she?
Heather Graham bowls past the umpire to Norgrove. He's pushing forward on that one, wants a single, doesn't take it to mid-off. Yeah. She's the only representative, I think, from Oxfordshire. Lindsay Smith started her career at Oxfordshire back in the day. Before she went to Sussex to play county cricket, a bit of time at Yorkshire as well. And she was up there, based up there. Obviously, we're formerly of the Northern Diamonds as well. But originally from Oxfordshire, as is now Abby Norgrove that's on strike now. Slow ball from Graham, driven nicely by Norgrove to extra cover. It's racing along the outfield. That's a lovely shot. 4 runs. She may be young, but she doesn't look like a player that's out of her depth here.
Well, that's a lovely cover drive, isn't it? Wow, wouldn't that give her confidence? It is her 4th game this year. She didn't bat in the last game against Western Storm at Hove. I know, you probably can't comment, but I can say I know that the one game she needs to improve is her strike rate. It needs to be a little quicker because I know 1 or 2 games she's perhaps batted a bit on the slow side. She's got it. She just needs to believe in it.
And that's probably a bit of confidence thing, isn't it? The back of a length delivery from Graham, and Norgrove works that leg side. And that's just part of it. She just picked up a single there off the back of a boundary. And that's the key, isn't it? You hit a boundary, the next ball you get off strike, you get up the other end, you find ways of just rotating the strike as and when you can. And that's where her game will go from one level to the next. But she's striking at 76 now. It's definitely an improvement. Forgot about differently though, as if you're opening the batting, don't you? Graham in again, bowls to Elwiss this time. A good late delivery, dropped into the offside. They'll come through for a quick single. They'll make it. Good running from the Vipers here. And that's the end of the 32nd over. 173 for 4. Sorry.
Yeah, you can see the difference in the experience out there. Georgia Elwiss just there, just a length ball, pushing the gap run. And
having the confidence to do that.
Exactly right.
And know that you played enough cricket, well judged single, get off strike. Yeah, this is this tree pollen.
Is this the white fluffy things that are now in the air?
And it's now in my eyes, which is making my eyes stream. So if I can't see anything, I tell you to take the lead. It's because I can't see what's going on, which famously is not very helpful for the job we're in.
No, that's not ideal.
But there we go.
But if you
and I've got glasses on as well. You think it wouldn't get past these.
Weird, isn't it? Maybe it's still in the air even though
it is,
even though those are the bits.
And it's
you
only my
can
left
see.
eye that gets real streamy and stingy. Yeah, it's weird. Oh well, moving on.
Kirsty Gordon, who's still on. She's not moved on. She's still on. As that's played quietly back to her by Georgia Elwiss. Now, Kirsty Gordon.
It's a rarity that she hasn't taken a wicket.
Yeah.
Probably jinxed it now.
8th over. She's conceded 35 so far. As you said, not a big turner, but she did get one to turn to to Georgia Adams a while back. Has played out into the covers and there is no run. So the wickets to fall for the Vipers. Charlie Knott, LBW, to a hooping in swinger from Grace Ballinger. She was out for 8. Ella McGacken, bowled by Heather Graham for 26. Georgia Adams run out for 46. That's hit out to deep cover for a single, 174 for 4. And Emily Windsor caught it backward a point for no score. Poor Emily, she's not finding the runs easy to come by this year in
Not
the
at the
Vipers
moment.
first team.
Not
I think
at the moment.
somebody said she got some big runs the other day playing.
Hursley Park second team game.
Was it Hursley Park second?
207.
Yes. Right, there we are. That is big runs. Hursley Park second team.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bit.
Don't ask her about that.
200 is 200. That's the end of the day. Well, that's bounced a bit. Norgrove works that down to 3rd. They should get 2. She did well there. She just waited, realised it bounced, and then just opened the face of the bat. And her Vipers teammates there giving her plenty of encouragement, as you can hear, just sitting to our right. They're all sitting there biting. Some of them are biting their nails.
I'm
Others,
just
their
wondering,
legs
that's
are
a 50
being.
partnership, that's why.
Oh, of course.
And I know
Make the
that
point out.
because they clapped the last 50 partnership and thought they were capping the Duckworth Lewis, and I thought that
100.
Duckworth Lewis is 169, so.
Length ball, and you could see Norgrove there thinking about pushing it into the gap on the leg side. She couldn't actually because she was coming too far across it, but she was thinking about trying to work a good length ball into a gap. That's good. Maybe she's already learning as the season's going along. Gordon bowls. Plenty of experience from Kirsty Gordon as well, of course, as that goes out into the covers. That's the end of the over. So 33 gone. 176 for 4. After 33 overs, the Blaze had 180. It is close.
Very close between these two sides, as it has been over the years between these two sides. Good battles.
Yeah.
Vipers won the final last year. Emily Windsor made runs in that game. 57 not out she made
She did.
in the run chase
Elwiss-
against the Blaze.
And Elwiss got runs in that as
There
well.
we go. Common themes. Elwiss likes playing against the Blaze. Pass it on. She's on strike, waiting for Heather Graham. She's just getting her fielders in the right place. She's got a deep third, deep square, deep fine, deep cover. The 4 fielders out. She's on the front foot this time as Elwiss pushing into the offside. She wants 2. And she's going to get it. Norgrove comes to the danger end. Great running from the 2 Vipers batters. Geeing on from her teammates as she reaches 50. Elwiss, 50 from 60 deliveries. Really good innings from her once again.
Third half century in 3 innings in this competition.
She's doing brilliantly well for her team today. Graham's in again once more. Past the umpire, bowls to her and hits on the back pad. High on the back pad. I think that's the only thing that's saving her. It's a good delivery from Heather Graham. Elwiss beaten on the inside edge. If you're watching the live picture feed, you can see a replay of that, I'm sure. Will be coming up for you now. Can't really see Sarah Bryce in the way behind the stumps, but
Probably going down.
get down and a bit high maybe, hit higher on the back pad. Graham in again, a short delivery, and that's stayed low on Elwiss. She's dug that out into the offside. She's done well actually to keep that out because it did stay awfully low. Those are the ones that beat you when you're least expecting it, that variable bounce. I just praised Paul Pritchard last night. Said to me, the 1980s pitch report from when he last played here was a bit of an up and down tennis ball bounce, and it's reigned true.
Yeah, it's not
All these
changed.
years later.
Yeah.
40 odd years later, still true. Heather Graham in again, short one. Played into the leg side along the floor out to deep square. Single taken. 179 for 4. Elwiss moves to 51. Yes, I just praised him on his memory and his true pitch reporting from all those years ago.
No, good on him. I knew he was around for some reason.
It's to give us dated pitch reports which reign true. Lovely. At least it plays the same. Graham in again, down the leg side this time. Called wide by umpire Paul Pollard. 180 the score. 180 for 4, the Vipers, in pursuit of the 279 set by the Blaze earlier on today at Chesterfield. But a lovely day at Chesterfield. We'll be coming back. Seen the Crooked Spire.
Yeah.
Seen the park. Heard the train. Seen some great cricket. Heather Graham in again. Down the leg side once again. Must have got the... Nope. Must have flicked the pad of Norgrove then, as it was stopped by Bryce from going for any more runs down the leg side. There's been a few of them today across both sides where they've leaked runs down the leg side at times. Been a feature of both innings. Graham turns slowly at the top end of the ground, runs towards us, bowls to Norgrove, who's forward in defence and can't take a single on that occasion as the ball goes to mid-wicket. It's the end of the 34th over, sorry. 180 for 4, the Southern Vipers.
Yeah, 4 runs off that one. 16 overs remain. Just under 100 runs now the Vipers need from here on in to keep their place at the top of the table, which they came into in this game, just ahead of the Sunrisers on run rate. This is the only Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy game going on. Just let me look at the run rate. It's very similar, isn't it, now?
Yeah, I assume there's more games going on tomorrow. Let's have a little look.
It's the Vipers.
Competition restarting after the
Yeah.
end of the Charlotte Edwards Cup and just before the 100. There's a little stint of a few games. Let's see what's going on tomorrow. England women are in action at the Utilita Bowl tomorrow at 2:30 for their first T20 match of the series against New Zealand. Hampshire Hawks, of course, at Radlett. That's where Kevin James will be at 2:30 tomorrow,
Yeah.
playing Middlesex if you want to get yourself there. Other games in this competition aren't happening tomorrow. So about Sunday. Yeah, a few games happening on Sunday. Western Storm versus the Northern Diamonds at Cheltenham. Lancashire Thunder against South East Stars at Blackpool. And the Sunrisers and Central Sparks at Radlett, so that'll be a double header.
Yeah. Sweep. Lovely sweep shot. Lucy Heyhoe into the attack with her off breaks, and it's gone for 4. Georgia Adams has employed that shot a few times, and that's brought her more reward. She moves on to 55 not out, 184 for 4. Just saw a shot on the live picture feed earlier of the Vipers contingent sitting just to our right.
This is the first time that Lucy Heyhoe has bowled in this competition this year. And she's batting at, well, she batted at number 9.
Yeah, it's a bit
So it's an
weird.
interesting, whether she's injured. I did just walk past when I went to the bathroom earlier and spoke to her, but I didn't really speak to her at length. I just sort of congratulated her on her direct hit, really, because it was a good bit of fielding from her earlier on, but I didn't really sort of get into depths of conversation of whether she's carrying a bit of an injury or whether she's just not been preferred with the ball.
Well, this is her 5th game in this year's competition, so that's interesting. There's another pull shot, but she's gone very fine. Oh, the fielder there has half missed it. That's Grace Ballinger. And they'll get 2, whereas they struggled for 1. In fact, they're turning for 3. Again, much to the delight of the Vipers squad just to our right here. They'll get more and more animated, more and more excited as we get towards the end of this game. 184 for 4 now. 58 not out now to Georgia Elwiss, but it's Abby Norgrove back on strike. 26 not out. Flighted, driven by Norgrove up to mid-off. There's no run. Yeah, it's
an interesting selection
why she
point,
hasn't,
really.
yeah, why she hasn't been bowling. Interesting. Because she has played a few games this year. In the game with her off breaks. It's driven by Norgrove up to mid-off, misfielded. So
That's where she's improved for me, is doing things like that to get off strike. Notices that she can't face too many dot balls, so just drives one to mid-off and says, yeah, I'm going to go. Puts the fielder under pressure and gets home.
Yeah, she'll learn as she goes along, that's for sure. Elwiss back on strike then. Heyhoe bowls, all wrapped on the pad. She's well forward though, good delivery. I am just contemplating the fact that umpire Amy Clark has said not out. She gave that some air, and we've seen that.
She will get the
various
ball
times.
to turn higher if it's on offer.
Is she well known
She
turn
can
of the ball?
turn the ball, yeah.
Yeah, it did turn, just watching the replay of that, and that's a good length ball, which Georgia Elwiss wasn't going to do anything too silly with that one. But yeah, that definitely turned. Probably, whilst it's a good news for her that it turned, probably in a way, trying to get an LBW decision out of that would have been a little difficult. But a good shout, and nevertheless. So we've got 15 overs left in the game.
8 runs from that one, sorry. 188 for 4. Last wicket fell on 124, so they've put on 64. These two now. It's a brilliant partnership, isn't it? It's what you need. In your middle order, create a big partnership. Put the fielders and the bowling team under pressure to take a wicket. They'll try different things. It will create confusion in the camp. And I really love the fact that it's Georgia was one of the Vipers' most experienced players, working with the, probably maybe the player that would then go on to take her place, a similar sort of role over the years. Abby Norgrove of batting, although she doesn't bowl, but that sort of steady batter to maybe just jump in and sort of find the way. Let's bat them together, and I think it'll be a real telltale innings if she can get the Vipers over the line, the two of them together.
It's like Ballinger back in.
It is the return of Ballinger. Open the bowling from this to the pavilion end. She returns from the lake end, left arm over the wicket. Bowls to Norgrove. Starts with a full toss. Outside off stump, and it's been driven all the way along the floor. 4 runs. Beautiful shot. Just over pitched from Ballinger. 2 full, 2 wide. Got the treatment it deserved.
Wow. I'll tell you what, when certainly square, when the ball pings off the bat here, it absolutely keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no real catching up with it, man. Catherine
No.
Bryce was the fielder at deep cover, but it was well to her left, and absolutely raced past her and into the brown chairs that are scattered all the way around the ground here. Ballinger starts again, bounds towards us, gathers and bowls to Norgrove. Is driving this time to the other side of Catherine Bryce. Another full toss, driven through extra cover this time. Back-to-back boundaries for Norgrove. This will help her confidence. Brilliant batting.
She's timed both of those to perfection, hasn't she? The first shot she got in a lovely position. That one, just watching the replay of this one as well now, and she's just waiting for that ball to come onto the bat, hitting the ball just below her head. Perfect shot. 35 she's on.
Brilliant batting from Norgrove. She's in again. Ballinger needs to respond. Another low full toss this time finds Catherine Bryce at deep cover. One to her left, went for 4. One to her right, went for 4. This one goes straight to her. It's like Goldilocks and Three Bears. That one just right. Yeah. One more to the Vipers' total. 197 for 4.
Yeah, Southby now it's turn to do some warming up exercises.
Now she's not getting old, so she's got no excuse to do warm. She just must be psyching herself up, ready to go. Left arm over Ballinger, bowls to Elwiss this time, a Yorker. It's dug out to guided to third. Another single taken, 198 for 4. Elwiss now 59 not out. With the young Abby Norgrove, 19 years old, on 36 not out. Waits for Ballinger, he's got hands on hips, contemplating her life, contemplating her choices with the ball. Throws the ball from one hand to the other, spins the ball backwards in her hands, starts with a little gallop. And she's in, running towards us, down the slope. And a nice looking shot by Norgrove again, a half volley outside off stump, driven to Catherine Bryce at deep cover. Another one to the total. Getting ever closer to that 200. The Vipers 199 now.
It's been a very full over from Ballinger, this, isn't it? It's either been full tosses or half volleys.
Over pitched. He's dragged that length back a little bit, struggling for rhythm by the looks of things, Grace Ballinger. She's in again to Elwiss this time. He waits patiently, a bouncer this time, and goes through to Bryce as Elwiss tries to get underneath it and hook it round the corner, but fails to make contact. Did well not to glove it. Those are the awkward ones that comes off the glove and balloons to the keeper for an easy catch. Does well to avoid it in the end. 199 for 4. We're through 36 overs here at Chesterfield.
And at the same stage, the Blaze had 195 with 14 overs left. So it's that close. Just a mistake on either side. You feel one big over for the Vipers, then they're well in front, and then of course a wicket or two in an over somewhere along the line suddenly puts the Vipers on the back foot, but at the moment they're going along nicely. It's going to be Lucy Hyam again with her off breaks. She's bowling to Abby Norgrove, fly-tiered, low full toss. Norgrove's receiving a fair share of those at the moment, hits it out into the deep, wide and mid-on, just the two. Kind of helped it out there, didn't quite time it. Norgrove now moves on to 39 and the 200 up, that's the applause. The 201,
Not
200 is up.
Not for the DLS pass score of 184.
Just been handed a copy of the Queen's Park Life magazine. That's up towards mid-off by Nigel Mallinder, the chairman, who we've just been speaking to. I feel like I should give a donation, actually.
There we go.
I will do. Have you got any money on it?
I don't. I feel like I should give a donation. Have you got any money on you?
It's driven out to me for cover. I've got some, actually. I've got some on me. I will, actually. After the game, because I always think, it's not right, with clubs and that you should.
You sound like every parent-child relationship. More, you're the child. Oh, I want this. I'll go and do that. Wait, have you got some money that I can do that with?
Yeah. Driving up to mid-on is Georgia Elwiss. Complete control here. It moves on to 60. 203 for 4 in the 37th.
Just been corrected by Academy Director Ian Cox, head of the Vipers Academy here, that Abby Norgrove is 18, not 19.
18 years.
She's 18
Yeah,
years old.
did I say 19?
I said 19.
Oh, did you? Oh, was it? You're supposed to be the expert here on the squad.
Ages?
Yeah.
Well,
you're
18,
here.
19 is younger than me.
Yeah, I know.
Therefore, I'm not really interested.
You're here as the Viper squad expert.
Yeah, people say that.
High and bowls, and that's tucked away by Norgrove back with a square. She moves on to 41 now. And the Vipers on to 203 for 4. Glad you pulled you up on that.
He's given me good recognition for multitasking as well. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that, yeah.
What's that? What?
Well, I'm replying to him and speaking at the same time, so that's what I'm doing.
I thought it was eating your cookie.
No, I can't do that at the same time. I can text and talk at the same time. Eating and talking is just plain downright rude.
204 for 4, 13 overs left. And the Vipers from here now need 76. And that run rate required, again, it's just over 5.5. It's been steady around that mark for quite a while now. It's never got any higher. It's never got much lower. The Vipers are pacing this just right at the moment.
I like this. Ballinger was in for 1, and I understand why they brought her back. Strike bowler. It's been really successful for them over the last couple of years, Grace Ballinger. But not afraid to take her back out the attack.
Yeah, quite right. They've got to
She
find
was
a way.
struggling, so they've got to find a way. Yep, Catherine Bryce, that is, to return from the Lake End when she bowled her 5 overs to start with. Starts with 1 on leg stump. Work backward a square on the leg side. Lucy Heim does the fielding at backwards square. Abby Norgrove goes into the 40s.
81 these two have put on now, and they've put that on in 15, nearly 16 overs.
Bryce, and again, past the umpire. Driving is Elwiss, and can only find Ballinger at backward point. Good bit of fielding to her favoured left-hand side.
I'll tell you what, when you look at that and say it's an 81 partnership, Norgrove scored 42 of those, so she has certainly played her part.
And that strike rate up at 87, it's not bad. Bryson again to Elwiss, works it again off the hips. Backward a square, another single. Feature of both innings, just drifting onto the hips of batters, just making easy pickings, especially this way, bowling towards us, up this slight slope towards the pavilion, just drifting down the leg side on numerous occasions for both sides. Bryson again, that's a bit of delivery, good leg delivery that all Norgrove can do is defend back to Bryson her follow through.
I think also what Abby Norgrove's done really well is it's taken the pressure off Georgia Elwiss. She might be the senior partner out there, but she's been able to play the way she wants to.
Absolutely. Bryson again to Norgrove is driving to extra cover, left alone by Claridge, and luckily Kirsty Gordon was behind her. Gets the throw back in. Another dot ball. Good pressure here from Bryce. Only 2 runs conceded from the over so far. Bryce full starts. Batter Norgrove wasn't ready. She starts again now. She's in. Bowls to Norgrove. Who's again forward. Tries to play it on the onside, but can't find a gap. Hits it straight to mid-wicket. Good over from Bryce that. Only the 2 from it. 206 for 4 after 38.
Yeah, now I think that was what the last 3 deliveries of that over to Abby Norgrove were dot balls. Now this is where again it's a test. It's a test for anybody, but it's certainly a test when you're only 18 years of age. In that, I'm sure Georgia always is saying to it, look, it doesn't matter. We're both in there. We're both in here, and we're going along nicely. We're up with the rate. We don't need to panic. It's
And you
very
can
easy.
catch up.
It's very easy in a run chase where you think, oh, I've just faced 3 dot balls. I need to do something here. So it'll be interesting to see how Norgrove bats when she's next on strike, and if there's say another dot ball, and it suddenly becomes 4 in a row, or even 5, and then all of a sudden, then you see just how a player will react. Hyam continues from the pavilion end, swept in the air, but it's safe. It's a top edge. There is a fielder down there. That's Catherine Bryce, who just rolls over the ball there as she keeps it just inside the boundary. But it's 2 to Elwiss. She moves on to 63 not out, and the Vipers on to 208 for 4 in the 39th over.
It's a really good partnership, isn't it?
Terrific. Hyam using her feet there, Elwiss. She knew that it would be pitched up, and she just works it onto the onside for a single. Georgia Elwiss with 65 not out in the last game against Western Storm is a top scorer of the season in this competition so far, so she's close to that. Brings Norgrove back on strike. It's high and bowls, and Norgrove comes down the wicket. That's nice. Work it up to mid-on. That's good. Keep the scoreboard ticking. Don't do anything silly. The Vipers here, back here, they don't want you to do anything silly. They want you to keep going the way you are. But it's easy to say, isn't it? When you're here, you just say, no, just keep playing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, when you're sat here talking about it,
that's right.
Enjoying it.
Out in the middle.
If you're one of the next 2 or 3, you've got some nervous thoughts going through your head.
That's for sure. 210 for 4. He always works that into the gap square on the leg side. Runs the first one quickly. Is she going to run the second? No, she won't risk it. As in off the boundary comes Josie Groves. Total is 211 for 4. Remember, 279 is the victory target. So the Vipers need another 68 here. There's high and bowls and tossed up. Norgrove's trying to give herself some room on the offside. Can't find the gap. Goes out to extra cover. Replays the shot with a slightly more open face bat. Ball just followed her somewhat, didn't it? A little bit difficult to find the gap on that occasion.
I'm just getting a little bit of turn, maybe back into the right-hander.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's giving it plenty of air. No, Norgrove comes and drags that one away on the leg side. She was trying to hit that over the top. Just dragged it away on the leg side. Fortunately for her, it was along the ground. A couple of the Blaze fielders had their hands on their heads there when that ball disappeared. Away on the leg side, 212 for 4. And Norgrove is now 44 not out. Elwiss is 65 not out, and we have 12 overs. Oh, hang on. I think that's going to tick over to 39, isn't it? Yeah, it will. It will in a minute. So we've got 11 overs left. 212, 6 off the over. Biggest partnership of the Vipers innings. This one, 88. It's worth beating the previous best of 55.
See, I think Abby Norgrove's highest score was
McGacken and Adams, yeah.
at Southport last
Oh
year.
yeah, Abby Norgrove's first, his highest is 48.
48.
Yeah. Just to save you looking out.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's right. No, when you said that, I thought I can help you out with that. That was at Southport. I wasn't
Yeah,
there,
well,
so
she
I didn't
opened
know.
the batting at
Yeah.
Southport. Played really, really nicely, actually, for her 48. Her and Ella McCacken had a good opening stand there. Playing in a different position today at number 6. Down the leg side, Catherine Bryce. Not called a wide though, so I assume it's just clipped the thigh pad. Or maybe the pads of Norgrove.
Yeah, she may just have come across it a fraction, I think. 56 balls Abby Norgrove has faced.
Fasted.
Where's
You're
that
now
come
losing
from?
it. Bryson again, good delivery. Pushed into the offside by Norgrove. Gets a single to Claridge. That extra cover, good batting.
That is good batting. She's off straight away. When you're on the front foot, your body weight's already forward.
Might as well
You've
just
already
go.
gained a yard. No, but you've already gained a yard, haven't you?
Yeah.
And if you go straight away, again, that's learning. Take the pressure off.
Bryson again towards us, bowls to Elwiss, clips that off her hip, goes past Graves. That fine, round to Lucy Hyam at deep backward square. They'll just take a single on this occasion. Elwiss moves to 66. 214 for 4, the Vipers, getting ever closer to that 279 set by the Blaze earlier on today.
Elwiss is top scorer of the season in this competition.
Right, arm over the wicket, Bryce. A slower ball into the pitch. Played up to mid-on by Abby Norgrove, but before it can get there, Catherine Bryce sticks out a right hand and parries it off. Stops the single being taken.
Just hope Abby Norgrove doesn't sort of lose her head a little bit here.
Bryson again, bowls to Norgrove, full delivery, driving again as Norgrove back to the bowler in a follow-through. Bit of pressure on Norgrove at the moment, you just feel it building on her. Hopefully she's just talking to senior partner Georgia Elwiss to say, hey, just get out of this one. You get a freebie, don't you worry about that. 214 for 4. 10 overs left to go, we're 340 here. And the equation now, the Vipers need, bad maths,
65.
65.
65 from 60. So it's effectively a runner ball.
There we go.
And you can see the run rate charts there. Vipers and the
Seems simple, doesn't it?
Blaze, yeah, very, very similar at this stage. After 40 overs, the Blaze around the 220 odd mark. Down the wicket comes Elwiss. Doesn't really get hold of that. Goes trickles out to mid-wicket. Lucy Heyhoe is back. Well, she's still bowling, of course, from the pavilion end. She is into a 4th over, none for 19. Bowls again, flight and driven and missed by Elwiss. Invited the drive there. It's giving it plenty of loop here, Heyhoe. Giving it plenty of chance to turn.
Just a quiet period in the game for the Vipers.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, you're right.
I feel like something's happening.
6 or 7 balls, 8 balls, and run rate has slowed. But this is where you've just got to keep your head a bit. Elwiss drives into the gap on the onside. There's one. I don't think they'll get 2. Marie Kelly comes in off the deep mid-on boundary. So Elwiss moves on to 67, 215 for 4. Abby Norgrove back on strike on 45. High and bowls. Norgrove comes down the wicket. Lovely drive through extra cover. I don't think that's going to reach the rope because there is a fielder out there, but it's a beautiful looking extra cover drive from Norgrove. That'll make her feel a bit better. And you can almost feel with the Vipers applauding there, just a little bit of tension, just relieved with that, even though it was only 2 runs. 217 for 4. Norgrove's on 47 now.
217 for 4.
Norgrove down the wicket, past mid-wicket, 48. She's equalled her highest score for the Vipers. 218 for 4. This partnership now is worth 94.
They came together when the score was 122.
Was it 122? No, 124.
124.
Yeah. That's driven out to deep mid-wicket. 219 for 4 now, the Vipers. That's the end of Lucy Heyhoe's over. The Blaze are going for a 3rd straight win in this competition. The Vipers looking for back-to-back victories.
And they've used 7 bowlers, the Blaze, I've just realised. Ballinger, Bryce, Gordon, Graham, Groves and McCarthy and Heyhoe now. Adding to that number 7th. McCarthy with her first wicket in the competition.
Yeah.
This year. Josie Groves 5 overs. Usually gets used a little bit more, the leg spinner. Saving Heather Graham, who's got 6 for in the last game. 1 for 40 off her 7 today. Might be saving her a little bit longer. 2 from Kirsty Gordon still to go. They're opting for Catherine Bryce at the moment. He's going to start a new over from the Lake End. She's won 7 overs so far for 30, not yet to take a wicket. It's beaten George Elwiss outside the off stump. Bit of panic for a second as I thought that was going to drop onto the stumps.
So 60 off 53 deliveries.
Great partnership. Elwiss waits patiently for Bryce, who's bowling. Elwiss driving up to mid-off pleasantly, but for no run. Kirsty Gordon there.
It's gone a bit quiet, hasn't it, the last couple of overs,
You
2.5
just feel or
overs or so.
sense something's happening, something's coming.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is, but it's coming. Bryce then driving as Elwiss. Full delivery outside the off stump, beats her on the outside edge. Again, another dot. Pressure building. The run rate climbing. 60 required, 60 more runs required by the Vipers. Bryce, and again, and up and over on the leg side is Elwiss, and she splits the 2 just about. It's a diving effort from Lucy Heyhoe with the left hand, but she splits them in the end quite nicely. And that'll be a welcome boundary for the Vipers, a sense of relief for Georgia Elwiss. She moves on to 72, Vipers 223 for 4. Equation's less than 60 now. 56 runs required. Bryce starts again, bowls to Elwiss, a back of a length delivery on the offside, played into the ground, finds Claridge at extra cover. Elwiss 72, Norgrove 48. Bryce just taking her time. Now bowls to Elwiss, who's forward, trying to drive, trying to find a single there. Elwiss can't do it. That's the end of the 42nd over. There's 8 more to do. The Vipers need a further 54 runs off the final 8 overs. It's going to be a tight finish here at Chesterfield as the Vipers close in. On hopefully their second, hopefully for them anyway, their second victory in a row. Blaze looking for a third in a row. Elwiss just taking her helmet off, having a breather. Talking to partner Abby Norgrove, who's equalled our highest list day score on 48, the highest score for the Vipers. Lucy Hyam to continue from this, the pavilion end. Bowled well since she's come on, bowled 4 overs so far, none for 24. That direct hit earlier on is impacting the game. She's using her feet as Norgrove beats Hyam off her own bowling. Abby Norgrove on to 49. That round of applause from her teammates was her highest score for the Vipers. Hyam in again to Elwiss this time. Again uses her feet, drives up the pitch to Marie Kelly at long on, does the fielding. 1 more to the Vipers total. Good start to the over for these two. 2 singles from the first 2 deliveries. 225 for 4 now. Brings Abby Norgrove back on strike, sitting on 49. Should be itching to get 1 more. Hyam in again. Bowls to Norgrove, driving up the pitch. She gets it. She gets there. Driving up to long on, gets her 50. Abby Norgrove, maiden 50 for the Vipers. Raises her back. She's got a little bit more work to do. But she's played beautifully with Georgia Elwiss. She made a couple of 50s in second 11 cricket leading into this fixture. There's a 100 partnership between these two. Came together when the score was 124 for 4. Hyam in again. Driving up the pitch again is Elwiss, up to mid-on, same. Another single to Marie Kelly. Another single to the Vipers total, 227 for 4. Elwiss and Norgrove doing brilliant job for the Vipers here. Hyam again. Same, great pickup by, oh gosh. It's a great pickup by Cassidy McCarthy, extra cover. Norgrove used her feet and got a good piece of it. I thought she got it past McCarthy, but great one-handed pickup and underarm shy at the stumps by Cassidy McCarthy. She was gone if she hit. But Norgrove's home, moves to 51, another single to the total, 228 for 4. Again, using their feet, the Vipers batters off every delivery in this over, drives past Lucy Hyam in her follow-through, gets another single to long on. It's brilliant batting between these two. Elwiss, 76 now, not out. 275 not out, sorry. 229 for 4. 7 overs to go. Abby Norgrove with her on 51. 229 for 4. So 50 exactly to win this fixture between the two sides. 50 runs.
Well done, Abby Norgrove. Top score, and also her first 50 for the Vipers. That'll feel good. That'll feel very good. It'll feel even better
if they get 50 more between them.
Well, another 50 would be nice. Their 100 partnership came off 122 deliveries, by the way, which is pretty quick, even though they've been fairly quiet in relation to the rest of their partnership over the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so. This game could go either way. It's slightly higher than a run of ball, but you certainly feel where Georgia Elwiss is out there. She's got it under control. Kirsty Gordon into the attack. Low full toss, driven, and it's going for 4 through wide mid-off. Relieves some of the pressure.
This is where you don't want to leap boundaries as the Blaze, do you? They've just had a good over, got up with the rate again. You just don't want it to slip by leaking a few boundaries to make it easy for them, put the pressure on in the field and with the bowling.
Who was bowling that far in the last over? I can't remember now.
Catherine Bryce.
She just could have kept her on, shouldn't it? Gordon bowls, pulled away to mid-wicket. They're going to take a single with the fielder right on the boundary. And that takes the Vipers on to 233 for 4. And Georgia Elwiss is on 80. But it's Abby Norgrove, the 18-year-old, Doing a wonderful job here for the Vipers, facing the next delivery. Gordon bowls, low full test, and Norgrove hits that down the ground for a single. The Vipers move on to 235 for 4, and this partnership now is worth 111. Been together since the 22nd over. We're into the 44th now. Gordon bowls, Elwiss drives, only backs as far as the bowler. And there is no run. So it is 44 to win from 38 deliveries. 6 wickets in hand for the Vipers. Gordon bowls, Elwiss just turns that away round the corner for a single. She moves on to 81, 236 for 4 now, the Vipers. 43 needed from 37. Last ball of this over coming up. Gordon's gone for 44 from her nearly 9 overs. Round the wicket again to Norgrove, who drives, doesn't time that, goes out to mid-wicket. That'll be a dot ball. End of the over. 236 for 4, the Vipers.
6 overs to go. Vipers need another 44 runs for victory here at Chesterfield. It's just getting a little bit tense, isn't it? 43, sorry, required from 36. It's just getting a little bit itchy where players want to start, you know, getting these last few across the line. Just need to be patient, keep the partnership going.
There's no Freya Kemp to come in for the Vipers and just bash a couple of boundaries to get things
Next
moving.
in the lineup, Rihanna Southby's carded to come in next. Alice Monaghan can give it a whack. Mary Taylor can give it a whack. Freya Davies and Ava Lee as well. Known to score runs, so it's all there ready to go, but they want these two to do it.
Heather Graham into the attack. 7 overs, 1 for 40 for the Australian seam bowler. All-rounder, really. She's batted brilliantly in the first innings.
She's in now. Past umpire Amy Clark. It's wide outside the off stump and it's gone through the legs. But I think that's Teresa Graves there. Stood at point. There's a couple she's let through her legs today. And she's got a welcome boundary as Georgia Elwiss. A bit of a freebie, really. She moves on to 85, 240.
Wow. That was a bit of a gimme, wasn't it?
Now the Vipers camp in front of us here, I'll tell you what's going on. They've got some foam rollers lined up, stood on their ends here. And every time, so they need 40 to win, so they've got 10. They're doing it in run sets of 10. I'll explain more in a minute as Graham comes in and the back of a length delivery is worked around the corner by Elwiss, gets another single. So they've got 4 foam rollers there, because they need 40, or just under 40 now. And every time they knock off 10 runs, one of those foam rollers gets moved out the way.
Oh, really?
So it's just a countdown now in blocks of 10.
That's brilliant. I've never seen that before.
Just to sort of make it a bit easier. Every time you get 10 runs, you're a little step closer. Graham at the top of her mark. Glides in past the umpire, bowls, and almost falls over in her follow-through. It's a drive out to deep cover by Avi Norgrove. Good-looking shot again from her. Throw comes in. It's Lucy Hyam out there, does the fielding. 242 for 4.
37 needed from 33 deliveries.
Yeah, you've got the equation up there. I haven't got the...
Oh, I'm just writing it down as well.
That helps, doesn't it? Don't know why I'm not doing that.
You don't have to, you're all right.
I can rely on you. Graham, and again, beats the outside edge of Elwiss.
Ooh.
Kirsty Gordon at mid-off is just lying on her back in disbelief that hasn't hit the stumps, I think. She's driving outside the off stump.
So that's those there
Yeah.
on the live picture feed. So they are towers.
They're foam rollers, and they're just counting down. Every time there's 10 runs, they'll knock one of the towers over.
Yeah.
So you watch the next time it goes up to, when it goes under 30, I'll knock another tower over. Graham in again to Elwiss, driving to extra cover, dot ball, good fielding by McCarthy.
They still go either way, even though this is a really good partnership and 2 batters are in there. 37 off 32.
Just feel the pressure, don't you? The batters have it in the palm of their hands, though. There's still 6 wickets remaining. They can go harder if they need to. So a good-looking shot by Elwiss, driving into the covers. McCarthy won't throw it. There's nobody backing up. Josie Groves has got a long way to come in off the rope. that deep mid-wicket to come in to back that one up. So the throw's not taken by McCarthy. As it looks like McCarthy's going to come off the field for a short period of time. Michaela Kirk runs on. And that's the end of the 45th over. We've got 5 overs to go, 243 for 4.
Yeah, 30 runs to win this game from the final 30 balls.
So you'll see in a minute, if there's a single or whatever on this first ball, you'll see that one of those foam rollers
Yeah, so I'll look for that.
disappear.
119 this partnership then between Elwiss and Norgrove. Comfortably the top partnership of the game. The only 100-run partnership of the game. So Kirsty Gordon will continue from the lake end. 243 for 4. Elwiss is 87 not out here. Top scorer of the season in this competition. Drives down the ground. But it'll only be a single. And there are 29 balls left now. And 35 runs needed. 6 wickets in hand.
I don't think they've noticed.
What's that?
Well, it's gone under 30 now, hasn't it?
Oh, they're not taking one away. No, nobody's moved. They're too tense. Nobody wants to move. Gordon bowls. Norgrove hits it in the air, safe. Over the top of the bowl. There should be 2. Not enough on it to take it all the way over the rope. But it will be a comfortable 2 here. Nice placement from Norgrove. 28 balls remain and 33 are needed. Oh yeah, it hasn't gone below 30. That's why they haven't taken it away, have they? Or didn't they take it away from 40?
4 there,
oh, they've got 4. Well,
so I thought there would be, but
they're not concentrating. Low full toss, hit away. Oh, that's going for runs. That's going for 6. Abby Norgrove sailed over mid-wicket boundary.
I thought for a moment she'd hit it straight to Heather Graham that was at deep mid-wicket, and she just stood there, Heather Graham, and watched it sail over her head and into the brown chairs at deep mid-wicket. It was a great shot by Abby Norgrove. She's really finding her feet now. I mean, it's a bit of a gift, if we're brutally honest, from Kirsty Gordon.
27 off 27. It is now a run a ball. 252 for 4. Here's Gordon, bowls. Norgrove comes down the wicket, drives to mid-off. Another run there. Norgrove moves on to 62. Dizzy heights for the 18-year-old.
Absolutely. They're now trying to hook the foam roller. They've now just realised that it's below 30, and they're trying to fish the foam roller back now.
With not much success, it has to be said. There they are, 4 of them up there. There should be 3 on the live picture feed.
It's a good way of just trying to create.
Love that. Turned away for a single on the leg side, Georgia Elwiss. Good over this one for the Vipers. 25 from 25 now. They move on to 255 for 4. Elwiss is on 89. Massive partnership. So you can see they're still trying to hook one of those towers and they can't do it. It's Georgia Adams.
They've done it now.
The aim's not great. She's done it, finally. Yeah. Here comes Gordon, bowls, driven by Norgrove up to mid-off. It is a runner ball. That's exactly what they're doing there. 24 of 24 then. And the total for the Vipers is 255 for 4, with Elwiss on 89 and 63 to Abby Norgrove.
I just feel that it could still go either way for me. I mean, the Blaze have got depth in their bowling. I mean, Gordon's got 1 more. You'd think that she'd bowl hers the next over, she'd bowl and complete her allocation of 10. Graham's got 2 more. She's going to bowl this one and got 1 more. You've still got a collection. Do you go back to Bryce? I assume they would. She's bowled nicely. She's got 2 overs left, 0 for 34. So they've got options, good bowling options all the way round.
They have.
They've got 4 more overs to find. Graham's going to bowl one of them now. She bowls to Norgrove. It's hit high on the pad. We're going to take a leg by as it goes into the offside. It's high on Abby Norgrove's back pad, so I assume it was missing and going over. 1 more to the total, 256 for 4.
23 from 23. See, that didn't look a bad shout, actually, looking at the replay.
Heather Graham liked it. She turns at the top of her mark now and glides past umpire Amy Clark. Bowls to Elwiss. That gets big on her, guides it into the offside. Teresa Graves does the fielding. 1 more. 22 from 22.
They're keeping everybody in suspense here. There's no bang, 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 win it with 10 balls to spare the way things are going at the moment. This is...
They're not those type of players, really.
No,
unless they get a real gift. I don't think they're going to try and manufacture it. I think they're just going to do what they're doing now. The boundary would just help relieve the pressure in case they have a couple of dot balls. Graham in again, and Again, driving on the uppers, Norgrove takes a quick single to Michaela Kirk inside the circle at extra cover. 21 from 21.
Ooh. I'd
Tension
rather
in
be
the
the
air.
Vipers. Yeah, 6 wickets in hand.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got 6 wickets at their disposal as well that they can use if needed. Graham in again outside the off stump, fishing for it was Elwiss. Can't get it away. A rare dot ball. 21 from 20 now. 2 balls left of this, the 47th, here at Chesterfield. A few more people stopped over to the far side of the ground on the left to have a little look. Stopped with prams over in the corner. Another drive from Elwiss. Another miss from Elwiss. Into the gloves of Bryce. Yeah, that family that are just in front of the ice cream van over the other side of the ground have literally just stopped there. So maybe just walking through on their way to the lake.
Yeah, they've looked at
They've
the
missed. They
scoreboard.
basically missed the train.
Yeah, he stopped. I
Missed
think
Puffing
it
Billy.
stopped,
Yeah, I
hasn't
think it has.
I haven't heard a
No.
whistle for a little while now.
Graham in again. Bowls to Elwiss. A Yorker length delivery that's played up towards us, up towards Marie Kelly at long on. It's another one to the total.
Whoa, well, great stuff here. Great end to what's been a good game. I'm sure both sides will say they've played this game perfectly. I'm sure some of the fielding has been that great. The wicket has been... It's helped the bowlers from time to time, but it's also helped the batters. It has come on nicely. Whenever there's been half volleys, the batters have been very keen. Now, one of those towers has fallen down. Oh, it's 20 to go. That's right, so there's 2 towers up. There we go.
Yeah, 2 lots of 10 runs.
There we are. That's why
They
they're still
represent-
That's right in front of where the Vipers are sitting. And that's a great way of actually just relieving the tension. Just look at those towers, knocking them over.
Yeah.
It's 10 runs. Brilliant. Love that. Whoever thought of that? Probably Charlotte Edwards. It's a great way of helping your side count the runs down as you go along. There they are, watching the game intently. 18 balls left in this game. 20 runs needed. 259 for 4. It's Elwiss to face Catherine Bryce. Keeper standing up. Bryce bowls. That's pulled away in the air, but safe down to fine leg. Not really putting the fielder under pressure because it's a fairly bobbly outfield. Single it is. 17 balls remain. 19 runs needed.
19 from 17 for the Vipers to get victory over their more recent nemesis in the Blaze.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now let's draw. Norgrove drives and it goes back to Bryce, who gets hold of that one. Make sure that ball doesn't go past her. And there are now 16 balls remaining, and there are still 19 runs needed.
Don't wanna
Another
get-
dot ball will be
Yeah,
interesting.
you just don't want too many in a row, do you? Just,
No.
I mean, they have got wickets in hand, so they can play a couple of shots, but I might be strongly considering playing them now.
Yeah,
I've
don't
got
leave
them
it too
available.
long. Norgrove goes over the top of mid-wicket. No, she doesn't. She's caught. And she's gone. Norgrove goes, caught Marie Kelly at deep mid-wicket. Well, in fact, one on the circle, actually. Above her head. Norgrove goes for a career best 64. It's been a wonderful innings. She's certainly given the Vipers a chance in this game. 260 for 5 now. That partnership has been finally broken, and I'm sure the Blaze are relieved about that.
Good catch from Marie Kelly at mid-wicket. Good catch for the situation. Good catch that it was just sailing over her head slightly. She just tried to play one shot in vain. Abby Norgrove could have just tried to lift it over a little bit harder to get that one over the infield, but it was a good catch by Kelly because it was just out of eye line above her head.
Well, this game's not over yet. And the 48th over here, and the Vipers still need another 19. Now, the incoming batters now. There's real pressure on them.
New batter Alice Monaghan back into the side today. She's not one to hang around though. She can get going as quickly as anyone, so that'll be her role here, just taking the pressure off Elwiss as best she can. She can get a couple away early, play with no fear. 260 for 5. 19 required still.
136 those two put on for the 5th.
Bryce into Monaghan, cutting off the back foot, finds point, but they get through for a single. One more to the total, 18 now required. 14 balls remaining. Elwiss on 92, waits for Bryce, who bowls to her, and she's worked it leg side. Teresa Graves gets low to her left and does a good bit of fielding. We get through for a single though, 17 runs remaining for victory.
13 balls.
Hate these tight finishes, do you?
Yeah, he's getting very tight now.
Bryson again to Monaghan, who's trying to pull that into the leg side. Misses it, is bowled, the pressure's on. Here for the Vipers now, 262 for 5. 260 for 6 now, yeah, for 6. As Monaghan goes for 1. They didn't want it to get down to their lower order. I mean, Rihanna Southby coming in at 8 is, you know, she scored runs at important times for the Vipers this season. 55 runs so far, high score of 19, that'll be enough. Be more than enough. She can get them in good time. Walks out to the middle to meet Georgia Elwiss, who's sitting on 93. She needs to try and take the majority of these last deliveries. All Rihanna has to do is get Elwiss on strike. It's a good breakthrough from Bryce. She's bowled through 9 overs, 1 for 30, 2 for 37 for her now. Bryce Gordon's bowled out. 10 overs for her, 0 for 57. It's a rarity that Kirsty Gordon doesn't take a wicket in her 10. Heather Graham looks like she's going to bowl out after this one. They've got one more to find. I assume it will be Bryce once again from the far end to finish.
The thing is, you don't want to leave yourself too much to do, because for a new batter coming in, playing across the line on this wicket, it's not easy. As we've just seen how this Monaghan, I think once the players get in, they know how to play on the wicket, because the old one keeps a little below, one bounces. Also, it's this needs to be a big over. You do not want to leave, for me, I don't know, more than 11, 12? Oh, not even 11. I reckon 10 max last over. So, last 2 overs, 17 needed. Elwiss, it's wide. And the keeper, Sarah Bryce, is having to dive for that one. What's he going to signal? Bye? It's got to be a wide, surely. Even Georgia Elwiss is saying to the umpire, really?
I think Heather Graham herself thinks she's got away with one there.
Gosh, that was wide. 11 balls left, 16 needed.
Byes are called.
Very wide there. I'd love to see that again. I missed that if it's just come on the replay. Here's Heather Graham then with the right arm medium pace. It's bowling to Rihanna Southby. Southby tries to pull that away on the leg side. Oh, so she got a bottom edge on that one. It's going for 4. What is it? What's it going to signalled? It's 4 byes. There's the difficulty of standing up on this wicket. Would the keeper be better off standing back here?
Yes, I think is the answer to that.
Thank you. I know you had to think about that one.
Well, I just think
you've
the
got
variable bounce.
medium pace, you've got to be standing back here now.
And you don't need to take stumping, so you just stop runs, and surely it's easier.
Yeah.
Stood back, give yourself the best opportunity to not leak runs in the final few overs. A bit of a hack from Rihanna Southby across the line first ball.
I thought she was going to be bowled there.
But I think she needed to fight. She was thinking about boundaries. Trying to take the pressure off the last.
15 needed off 10. Here's Graham again. Rihanna Southby gets an edge. It's going down towards third. That'll be 4 more. Off the bat this time. 271 for 6. The last 2 balls are swinging this game the Vipers' way. They need 11 off 9. Is that right?
No, I think they need 8.
No, 8 off 9.
Pressure's on.
They do. 8
Heather
off 9.
Graham.
Graham comes in again and bowls to Southby. Southby hits that away to point. They'll take a single there, not fielded cleanly. It was hit hard enough. The fielder was always struggling to pick that up cleanly. You're always going to run in that situation. And now it's less than run a ball here, with 7 needed from the last 8 deliveries.
Importantly, Elwiss on strike, 93 not out. She's trying to keep the strike as best she can. Boundary here would kill it for the Blaze. Graham in again, and pulled off the front foot. Elwiss out into the deep on the leg side. One taken, she wants two. Southby's coming back.
Oh!
And she gets home. A better throw, or a better gather, sorry. Heather Graham took the bells up. It looks like she didn't have the ball in her hand. Good call by Elwiss. It's a long way out there to deep waste wicket. Throw was good, but just not quite powerful enough. And they get back for the second. Elwiss 95 not out now. A further 5 required.
7 balls. Wow. Swung in this over, isn't it?
You said it needs to be a big over. It wasn't quite in the way we were sort of maybe thinking that it would in terms of, you know, forceful boundaries, but a few streaky ones. Heather Graham into Elwiss. She's trying to drive outside the off stump, misses it into the hands of Bryce. We're into the last. The last over is upon us. 5 required from 6 deliveries. It's be Catherine Bryce, I would assume. Yep, it's coming into bowl. The final over. That's 10 overs bowled for Heather Graham as well. She's been great today with the bat and ball. 10 overs, 1 for 55 for her.
Yeah, that's the big over they wanted, though. Tomorrow, and they come 12 runs off that over. Huge over. Massive over.
I think Elwiss was more disappointed that she couldn't get herself back on strike for the start of the last. It'll be Southby to face Bryce. There's a big conversation happening with bowler Bryce, captain Gordon, senior player Marie Kelly. Can't see who else is behind there now. Who's that there in the conversation as well? Maybe Hyam, is it?
I'm just wondering if they're thinking...
No, Graham, Heather Graham as well in there.
Are they thinking, we've got to try and keep Elwiss off strike, but we can't have too many up. We've got to think about stopping the boundaries, because I'm sure Rihanna Southby will be looking for a big hit here. A big hit early on will certainly kill the game. It's 5 runs needed off 6 deliveries. 4 runs the tie. Here's Catherine Bryce then to Southby. Bowls, and Southby gets wrapped on the pad. Called through by Elwiss. There's a single. And there are 5 balls remaining and 4 runs needed. Elwiss is back on strike on 95 not out.
Importantly for the Vipers, she's back on strike. Obviously not saying that Rihanna Southby can't score the winning runs, but you just want your in batter.
Yeah.
Facing as many deliveries as possible. She's waiting, she's making Catherine Bryce wait here.
So
Fielders outside the circle. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square, deep cover. Not seen her play a ramp yet, but it's on if she wants to take it on.
275 for 6. Here's Bryce, bowls to Elwiss. Elwiss pulls that away. It's in the air. This could be end of the game, and it is. 6 runs over mid-wicket, and Elwiss, with that shot, goes to 100. 101 not out. 281 for 6. And the Vipers have won this game by 4 wickets with 4 balls to spare. Celebrations in front of us. You heard it. They leapt to their feet. The whole Vipers contingent. Very tricky situation with 2 overs out. Massive over that went for 12, the penultimate over. Paved the way for the final over. And Georgia Elwiss won this game in style. Huge 6 over mid-wicket.
Unbelievable batting, wasn't it? She could have easily hit that to deep mid-wicket and been caught on the boundary trying to go for glory, but she just got every pit. In the form that she's in, I don't blame her. She absolutely nailed it. And it went over the head of Heather Graham for 6 and into the brown seats behind us. The Vipers win this. Such a tight contest again between these two. Win the game as they did in the final last year. Come on top of the Blaze, who looked disappointed. Kirsty Gordon leads them off, but it's a well-fought affair between the two sides, and they win this game with Georgia Elwiss going to 100 of 110 deliveries. Brilliant innings from her. Great support by young Abby Norgrove. 64 from 75 for her. Little cameos from, well, a little cameo from Ella McCacken at the start. And good support all the way down. Bowling for the Blaze. 2 wickets for Sarah Bryce, you'd wish. Catherine Bryce. 2 wickets for her. A wicket apiece for Graham and Ballinger, and the first wicket for McCarthy. but in the end just come up short against the Vipers, and another great contest between these two sides.
That's for sure. Massive partnership of 136 for the 5th wicket between Elwiss and Abby Norgrove, the 18-year-old. Her highest ever Vipers score of 64, helping the Vipers get over the line. But that penultimate over was massive, and Elwiss with that shot right at the end, bringing up her 3rd Vipers 100 in 50 over cricket. So the Vipers remain top of the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy title. The Blaze are still with just 3 wins from 8 matches now, and it's been a really good game here. Superb game. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good.
Charlotte Taylor, thanks for your efforts. It's been a very marathon effort from us.
The next 2 games for these, just quickly before we go, the next 2 games for these two sides. Southern Vipers will be at Falkland Cricket Club in Newbury against South East Stars on Wednesday, starting at 10:30 there, and the Blaze make their way to Cheltenham to play the Western Storm, see if they can bounce back from here. The Central Sparks will also be playing Thunder, Diamonds versus Sunrise. A packed game, or packed set of fixtures on next Wednesday for these two sides.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll be doing it again really soon.